Hey, this is Dave here. Guys, one of the most essential parts of having a great life is having safe transportation for you and especially for your family. So definitely go see our man, Richie, at Pep-Boys in Daytona Beach, Florida.
And this is Max. What I hate the most, Dave, is when you start up your car and it goes do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, and you know it's going to be a long day. Well, if I know Pep-Boys has my back, it's going to be a great day. So no matter what happens, go to Pep-Boys for any issue, give you the best deal, and completely fix all your problems.
And tell them Locked In sent you.
What's up, guys? Max here. Let us introduce you to Wicked Cutz, the best quality haircut around. They have 2 locations, right, Dave?
Yeah, bud. They got one in South Daytona and also the second, the brand new one in Port Orange, Florida.
Now, here's the thing. In order to book an appointment, you can visit wickedcuts.com or download the Booksy app. And every Tuesday and Wednesday, if you mention Locked In, you get $5 off your fresh cut for both locations.
What? $5 off? That's amazing, guys. Check them out, lastly, at Facebook and Instagram at Wicked Cutz Barbershop. Do you want the best meals every day? Then get with Fit Meals. Call them at 844-FIT-4U.
Hey, guys. Max here. What I like about Fit Meals is this. It's fit for everybody. If you don't like certain foods, he takes it out. If you like certain foods, he adds that in. It's for everybody. If you're an athlete trying to gain muscle, if you're trying to lose weight, or you're just busy and you don't have the time to cook, Fit Meals is for you. Go to myfitmeals.com and start your plan today.
844-FIT-4U.
Dave the Wave.
Max Van Hawkins. I need a nickname for you.
I know. I always say Dave the Wave. Sometime I expect you to be like, Max, and I'm get surprised.
Max the Shoreline Van Hawkins.
The worst nickname you've ever come up with. But we have the pleasure of having Justin Vallejo, played at Atlantic High School, Piedmont basketball, and now an opportunity to play overseas. Pleasure having you on, bro.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, too.
We have JT Money.
Hello.
Expect the burr. And we have Sean, the producer behind the scenes, making it all work.
What up?
So, Justin, how's it like to be back in the States?
It feels really good because the first problem with Europe is no one speaks English, so communication kind of is tough, but it feels good being back and being able to see Americans and people dress different in Europe. So it's a good feeling being back home.
Little things.
Yeah, we were just talking about it. You said the man bun is pretty much in style over there.
Yeah, the man bun's pretty big there, and also capri shorts, I guess is what you call it, kind of like what girls would wear. That's kind of a thing there for guys. So it's just a different atmosphere over there.
So if you ever, hopefully when you play over there, do you see yourself growing a man bun and capri shorts?
No, neither. No.
Let your calves breathe, man.
No.
That's what they're there for. You just gotta let them breathe.
No,
Sean,
no
you
way.
let everything breathe over there.
That's why I'm not on mic. On camera, I mean.
But no, we were talking about it, and you were just telling me about your experience, but people don't understand how successful you were at Piedmont. So first of all, you went to Atlantic High School. All 3 of us here are Atlantic alum. So what was that experience like in Piedmont, and like the difference between college basketball and obviously high school?
I mean, it was a lot of fun. I'm actually about to graduate in 2 weekends with my mass communications degree, so that was a lot of fun going through school. But the basketball aspect was a blast. It's a smaller school. It's something that I wanted to go to. I had options to go to schools that were bigger than Piedmont, but I wanted to go to a smaller school where I'll be able to play right away, have just a really good career. Because I always feel like a lot of people, they look at especially student athletes that are in high school, they look at a Division III school and they shut it out right away, and they always want to go to Division I. And we for example, I had a player, one of my teammates was from a Division I school, and it's like he wasted 2 years that he was eligible for, and he wasted them out of Division I school and ended up going to a Division III school. So it was a really good experience. Being able to play 4 years of college basketball. It's a different pace. Everyone can play in college. You don't have players that can't shoot or anything. Like, everyone can play basketball. So it was a lot of fun.
And obviously, so you're a senior. You have the 1,000-point club. You're a part of that.
Yeah. That's sick.
That really is
awesome.
Pretty freaking cool.
Congratulations on that, man. That's awesome.
It was especially this year was a lot of fun. But we were up in, I think it was Tennessee for a tournament over winter break, and I didn't even realize I had it until my mom ended up, because she kept track of everything, and she told me I had it.
That's what moms do.
I even looked back
Good
at
one.
the film, and it was funny because my roommate, who's one of my closest friends on the
I
team.
just Justin, your mic is off.
My bad. But yeah, it was really cool being able to get 1,000 points. I had Atlantic, and every time you come back from or whenever I graduate from high school, you always want to think about, all right, what are the next goals I want to have when I play basketball? And that's when I was an incoming freshman. One of my goals was to get 1,000 points, and so be able to get that goal is really cool. So.
And you're like a 5. Were you playing stretch 5? I know in high school, obviously, you were the biggest person. You were just talking about a 6'6" and great shoes, 6'7", and you're obviously a 5. So in college, they expected you to play this 5.
Yeah, it was the 5. Sometimes, rare occasions, I'll run like the 4 and be able, because I was able to shoot the ball, so I was able to spread the floor out a lot and draw bigger guys out into the perimeter because we have really athletic guards that can get to the rim. So that was one of the things that I would do too. But I mean, it was a lot of fun. I was able to get a lot of accolades besides 1,000 points. It was incredible. Going into my freshman year, I didn't think I would be where I am right now and be able to have this opportunity. So it was really fun.
Did you ever think you'd be in the locked-in studio?
No, never thought that.
That's a career
You're on the right
achievement
path.
there.
You're on the right path. But
Talking about goals, can we talk about a guy who has hefty goals in life, Max?
are we talking about someone? You talking about myself?
I'm talking about a guy maybe a little bit higher than yourself. A little bit. Talking about LeBron James.
Yeah, my pal.
Your friend?
Yeah.
He went to LA. We haven't talked about this. He's been the talking point of the podcast for the last year and a half, right?
Yeah.
LeBron, Connor, and Floyd, right?
Yeah. Connor.
Versus Floyd. That was the biggest.
Yeah. We'll count Floyd. Okay.
We were all gone, July 4th vacations, all that stuff. We didn't get locked in last week. We had some great interviews. Stephen Mallory was an awesome interview. That you can download it, any podcast platform. But LeBron signs with LA. That's what we both said with Aaron Goldstone right before the last podcast, before free agency, LA. Now it's happened. It's officially signed. They just had the picture last night, Clutch Sports, LeBron to the Lakers. So the floor is yours.
Okay. All right. You don't even have to say anything. Just the floor is yours.
You run with it.
So, Justin was our guest, so I'm like, you got to be professional. We have the honor of having him in, so, of course, let's address the issue. But the back of my mind, I'm not going to lie, I'm thinking LeBron LA. He's been on my mind the whole time, and I have the jersey already bought a jersey. Wow. So the whole point is this. So, Gary, I'm going to call out my cousin Gary. So we have we have the locked-in community, and which we appreciate the feedback, by the way. There was like 60 comments we'll get into
the
about
debates
some.
of the days have been awesome, guys. We appreciate. We're the People's Podcast. Max, you've been throwing out great info, great questions, great debates, and then people keep on jumping on it. So it's been awesome lately.
It's really funny. The ones I'm like, oh, people are going to love this. Be like, okay, pretty much they agree. But then the one I'm like, okay, this is a no-brainer.
Boschmello.
Yeah, I'm like, Boschmello. It's like
blew up.
I'm like, 60, what? So, okay.
It's like a Donald Trump Fox reporter or something. It was crazy.
Max doesn't like my Jordan memes.
Yeah, we got into it. So, okay, the point is this.
Here we go.
They're like, I didn't know you were a Lakers fan. And if you follow the podcast, I've always been a LeBron guy. And Dave, you came to me, and we had probably the most serious discussion we've ever had. And you said,
you in the eye.
If you want to be in this podcast, you have to have a team. So I said, okay, I love Los Angeles Lakers because I always loved Magic Johnson.
Okay.
I watched their summer league stuff. I love the direction that he's going in. I love the management.
You're a big Lonzo Ball fan.
Yeah, I loved Lonzo Ball. Yep. So I'm like, okay, I like the Lakers. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I lost that bet. Iced coffee. We all know that deal.
Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Okay. I lost a couple, so they're all a blur. But you owe me one, by the way. Rampage Jackson beat Chuck Liddell before Rashad. But
we're on air, Max.
Okay, the point being to this whole story is I was a Laker fan and a LeBron fan. That dream came true. We both thought he was leaving, and ultimately ended up with kind of where everyone thought. Like, there was always rumors like the 76ers, the Rockets, but he became a Laker, and it's a dream come true.
Yeah.
And now it's just where do all the other pieces fall. But the main big piece of the puzzle is LeBron wearing the Lakers jersey.
He's still the best player in the league in my eyes. I think he's still the most valuable player in the league. So it all starts with LeBron, and like you said, all trickles down effect. This year, I think, and we'll get right into it, right? I think they're going to be better than what people think. I have high hopes for the Lakers. I think Luke Walton's a great coach. I like Ingram, Kuzma, and Ball. Now, I've always said this. Lonzo Ball is the Jeff Teague example. I kept on throwing that out there.
We disagree that, Cole.
That's fine, but I just always thought Lonzo Ball couldn't be the 1, 2, or even a 3 on a championship team. But now, to me, he is the 4th or the 5th best player on the team. That's fine. I'm happy with that because Ball can facilitate to the best players, to the scores. So I think Ball will even be really, I think he's going to play well this year. And then the 3 new players to add to LeBron, Rajon Rondo,
Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee.
Yes.
Okay, I can go on a tangent here real quick, but I
Go
do
with it.
have a question. So
Okay.
we had Roman Oles on as one of our first ever guests on Locked In, and he said it was a question for Justin. So I promise I'll get back to the Laker point. I can talk Lakers all night, but before I forget it, and he was like, "Oh, LaMelo." He got it Locked In correct. He's like, "LaMelo and LiAngelo will not play in this league for like over a year." I think he said,
Yeah.
and that happened. So coming from you, who's played overseas now, you tried out for teams, and you're probably gonna end up on an overseas team. Was the competition like legit for one, and two? Do you have any sense in which the competition was like with LaMelo and LiAngelo?
You're talking
they
about
played for Lithuania.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did. Yeah,
That's where I was in Lithuania.
You were in Lithuania.
Yeah, that was a country where I was trying out in. And it's kind of funny. People don't understand how the whole process worked with them. But these games, when they were blowing up for 40-plus points a game, they weren't actually playing against professional teams. They were playing against junior teams. Because in Europe, they don't have.
What?
We got the inside
Yeah, I'm about to
information.
say,
They don't-
in
what?
Lithuania.
So they don't have a high school league in for basketball. So what they have is like we were playing against when we were trying out. There's some kids we're playing against that were 19, 20 years old. I mean, they're going to be great players in 5 years. They're going to be professionals for their country, but they're still amateurs. And those were the games when they were blowing up in the big baller games. So LeVar is out there paying these teams hundreds of thousands of dollars to come play in this tournament, the big baller games or whatever it's called. I couldn't remember the name exactly.
Yeah.
But those were the games when they're blowing up. And then when they were playing, it's called the NKL and then the LKL. So LKL is the top league in Lithuania. Then you have the NKL. And when they're playing in those games, the numbers were a lot lower.
Sure.
People didn't, people weren't going to talk about that. But, yeah, the games when they were blowing up for all these points, they're playing against what they're technically professional players, but they're 19, 20-year-olds, or even some of them are even – haven't even graduated high school yet. They still have a year or two in high school that are technically amateurs still. They're not getting paid money. So it's
I didn't ever know about this.
It's overseas basketball is a really gray area, and that's what I've learned like the past 4 months of trying to get over there. There's a lot of gray area in overseas basketball. There's a lot of different leagues and different ways for players to get noticed.
Okay, so from your perspective, are you impressed with them? Do you? I don't think LiAngelo Ball's a NBA player. LaMelo maybe has more shot than him, but I don't even think that. Are you impressed at all with them?
No, honestly,
Because speaking about the Ball brothers, Lonzo Lakers.
Sure,
I was
yeah.
just,
I mean, Lonzo's on. I mean, he's a great talent.
yes.
No doubt about that. But I'm not going to say anything for Melo yet because he's younger. He still has time. But Jello, I just don't see him playing in the NBA. I don't see him lasting in the NBA. And I don't know what it is. For his jumper, in my opinion, like I don't think he elevates high enough off of the floor, and he kind of has his release is like a little too. It's not.
It's gonna get blocked in the NBA for one.
yeah,
it looks like
yeah.
in 2K when you
Yeah.
hold it too long, the shot stick, and it's like that. That's what it looks like.
The average.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
the average height is like 6'6", 6'7" in the NBA. So I mean, he's not going to be playing against kids in Lithuania that are 18, 19 years old. He's only playing against.
Okay.
These are the best talent in the world.
He's on the same team now with LaMelo and the JBA.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't say anything for Jello yet, just because he's younger. I mean, for Melo yet because he's younger. I think he has to mature a lot more. He has to become more of a.
He's more outspoken like his
Yeah.
dad, it seems like.
Yeah. I think he has to
He's
mature.
got a flair to his game.
Yeah,
he
for
definitely
sure.
does.
He does.
Yeah, and if he gets a little bit stronger too, which I'm sure he's gotten a lot more athletic. He's grown a lot. So I don't know yet, but I mean he has more potential than Jello, in my opinion.
Cool. Okay, so now back to my tangent with the Lakers. Lonzo Ball. Okay, so the end game right now is land LeBron the biggest free agent arguably ever.
And they did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they did that. They did that. So
Yep.
I love what Rob Pelinka did,
Yes.
and I love what Magic Johnson. I love how Kobe embraced him.
Yep.
Okay, so I love.
LA's
Yeah, I
A
love
plus.
it. Obviously.
What's next?
Okay, yeah. So we love Ingram. Like we both are fans of him.
Yeah.
He's underrated now. Before it's like, oh, he's a bust. Now he's almost underrated. He jumped to 16, 17 points a game in his second year, and
Yeah.
he can defend, and he even played point guard at times when Lonzo was injured. Like I love Brandon Ingram.
He is a 2019 NBA player.
Yeah.
Long,
Versatile.
wide, can dribble, can shoot, can pass. I am all in with Brandon
Okay,
Ingram.
so I love Ingram.
Yep.
Obviously, Kuzma was the steal of the draft.
Yes.
I like what they acquired. But now the question is, do they get Kawhi Leonard? Because that's obviously Kawhi wants to be in L.A., which technically could be the Clippers, but I'm pretty sure everyone would rather be a Laker than a Clipper.
Yeah. No
And
one
it-
wants to be
yeah,
a Jet
and if
over
he
a
wants to
Giant, a
win.
Met over a Yankee.
Yeah, so
Just-
now if I'm a free agent, even if I am a little like different, like you'd say Kawhi's a little different. He's quiet. He's just a little different. I would say if I had Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, and LeBron James in a room, and anyone else, I don't even have to know the rest of the like categories
Yeah,
or selection. I'm choosing LeBron and Magic Johnson and the Lakers. So I think they'll definitely be able to acquire him. It's what they give up. And we had this discussion. I would give up Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, and some picks. That's a lot.
Not Ball.
I think they offered Ball and they didn't want him. I don't know if it's because Pop likes people that are over themselves. He doesn't like the circus, but he's obviously become a circus now, especially
Sure.
Tony Parker leaving. You acquired Rondo, so I wouldn't mind. Here's my thing. I wouldn't give up too much because ultimately I think you'll end up getting him. I really do.
just like Paul George.
But Kawhi is different. Like he is literally putting the team in a situation where I'm not going to play. I will sit out if I'm not playing for Los Angeles. And that limits what teams will give up to get him because, yeah, Paul George landed, but what if he doesn't? Like, what if he does leave? So if you're the 76ers and the Spurs are already asking too much and they're like, we want him, but we're not even sure he will even play. He can easily skip the physicals and not play.
Totally agree, and that's a very valid
So
point.
I would give
but
up Ingram, Josh Hart, and some picks. I wouldn't give up Kuzma.
Paul George kind of said the same thing last year to the Pacers. Goes, hey guys, I'm not going to re-sign a contract extension. I'm going to LA, after when I'm a free agent. They're like, well, crap. If you're going to be gone, I'm going to trade you. And OKC's like, well, the same thing. We think he's going to go to LA, but we're going to try to rent him and say, here's Russell Westbrook. Here's our system. Come join us. They traded Victor, who we now know is a legit NBA player, probably going to be a 5-7-time All-Star in the East. The East is weak, especially in the guard range. So they took the chance, and we'll get to that soon, right? Paul George stayed in OKC in the free agency.
So you're saying give him up, just you got to get him now.
You got to get Kawhi. Everybody.
But here's my thing. The more time that goes by, I want to know what you think, is the more time that goes by, the more leverage the Lakers have. Because they would have already gotten rid of him if a better offer came up.
No, agree.
So why
my
give
point
them
is,
more when you don't have to?
If you say you don't have to, but if they trade him, let's just throw it out to Philadelphia, and they win the NBA Finals, Kawhi is treated like a king, right? Like the wordplay there. He averages 38 points in the finals. Ben Simmons feeds him the ball. He goes, dude, this is awesome. I'm not going to leave this. Right? But I'm just saying, you have to do. Kawhi is the 4th best player in the world, 8th best player in the world. An argument, right? But he's a great player. You have to do whatever it takes to get him. Whatever it takes.
If the 76ers are a legit threat, I would say yes. But I don't think they're legit. I don't think anyone's a legit threat right now besides the Clippers. Because he literally came out and said, I will sit out unless I'm in a Lakers uniform. And on top of that, the Spurs were asking for either Fultz, Embiid, or Simmons, and they're not willing to get rid of any of them.
Here's my last thing, and then Justin, I want you to jump in. I guarantee that Kawhi Leonard will not sit out. Name me
He'll be a Laker.
No, just
He'll
name
be
me
a
one
Laker.
NBA player that sat out a season healthy. It just doesn't happen. It's not like
He did
any
it this
other
year.
sport.
He arguably did it this year.
No, he was legitimately hurt.
But they were saying that, okay, he was hurt, but
Yeah.
he was hiding from the Spurs people.
No, I know, but
Well, name someone who's done that.
no, injuries happen. Even Kyrie
hide from
threatened
your
an injury.
staff.
It's not a great situation. And there's been, Latrell Sprewell choked a coach. So, there's been weird things in the NBA. But there's never been in our era of 20, 25 years a player go, I'm healthy and I'm just going to sit until I'm a free agent. I just don't see him sitting out a year, in a prime year of his life, too, by the way. Just, he's a basketball player.
What would you give up to get Kawhi? If you're the Lakers right now, you're Rob Pelinka, and you're with Magic Johnson, do you go all in right now or wait?
I mean,
Because you have the opportunity to wait
it's
and
tough.
then get them with what you have.
It's tough because you don't want to give up too much because you don't want to give away your whole team almost. I mean, you don't want to give up too
They're
many
asking
young.
for
Yeah,
everything.
because it's a lot of young talent that has a lot of potential that they're asking for. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is Kawhi. I mean, arguably top defender in the NBA. Yeah. He's the only person that was able to really control LeBron at one point in the finals. I mean, I would do it. I would get rid of as much as I could just to get Kawhi, honestly. I mean, I don't think I feel like he's too valuable of an asset. I mean, especially if you want to beat what is now, I mean, the ultimate super team. Yeah, 5 all-star team. I mean, you got to have someone that can. I mean, you're gonna have LeBron that can guard anyone, honestly, but you have to have someone else that can guard. Either KD. I mean, he's the only person I think that can guard. I mean,
Contain.
Contain.
Give him issues, and it allows LeBron to rest defensively. And you got some.
I'm just saying, but if you want to do that, if you want to beat Golden State, because that's what they're going to have to do to get to the finals and win a championship. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, and if that means that you have to give up, some really good talent.
So who would you give up? The Spurs are like, okay, I want Kuzma, Ingram, Hart, 2 first-round draft picks. Would you do that? Kuzma and
I would give
Ingram.
up Ingram. I would give up Ingram and keep Kuzma. I think Kyle's good. I think he has. I mean,
that's the situation they're in.
No one thought that he was going to have the season that he had this year.
Yeah,
in my
and imagine
opinion.
how much he can progress, and that's the situation they're in. I think the Lakers are like, let's just see it. Let's meet in the middle.
But
we'll give you all that without Kuzma.
Think about it like this. I mean, they're gonna. Regardless if they give up all that talent and they get Kawhi, they're gonna have a good year and they're gonna make the playoffs, in my opinion. But if you think about it from a standpoint where if you give up all those players and get Kawhi, the next year, let's say they lose, they don't make it to the finals. I mean, they could possibly still get. They might be able to get some young players the next year, and then now they'll have Kawhi and they'll have that same type of talent.
KD.
Yeah,
we argue about LeBron.
There's a lot of players that's up for that are going to be free agents next year. Yeah,
let LeBron elevate other players. Like other players will want to go there, but there's not other Kawhis. So we like Kuzma, we like Ingram, but they're B- players or B players.
I agree with everything.
Short life, if they get Kawhi and then Kevin Love wants to go there, Damian Lillard wants to go there, Klay Thompson wants to go there, or other Wiggins, whoever it is, you got to get the home run. You got to get the main event.
You got to get Kawhi, in my opinion.
We got something? Oh, there's nothing more I love than seeing. I want to see Kawhi next to LeBron in a Lakers jersey. All I'm saying is I think they caught San Antonio in a bluff because if there was a better offer already, they would have already dealt him. I really do. And I felt like there's a lot of reports that have gone out like, oh, the 76ers are really close to making a trade with him. That's obviously out of the Spurs camp to get the Lakers on the hot seat. Nothing has happened yet. And I think the more time that goes, they realize there's no other offer.
That analogy is right up my alley. I love playing poker. And we play poker a lot, the buddies. And sometimes I am 98% sure a guy's bluffing. But he, put me all in. He put all my money in. It's like, and for $3 in the middle, it's not worth it. If I think he's bluffing. And you might be right. It's a great analogy, but sometimes I'd be like, I'm going to let you have it because I don't want – it's too much to risk.
Okay, so you're Rob Pelinka. I'll ask the same question. Yeah. You give up anything.
Yes, sir. But here's a blank check. I want Kawhi Leonard. Oh, Kuzma, Ingram, Josh Hart, 2 first-round picks. Yes, sir. Sign the bottom line. Done. And next year, now your team is – you still got Lonzo, who's young. And I'm not trying to – we were super high on Lonzo going to the draft, and then I saw him last year, and I was down on him. But you were still pretty strong on him.
I'm still strong on him.
So if your team is some kind of Lonzo, Lance Stevenson, Kawhi, LeBron, and then McGee or Mo Wagner maybe can shoot 3-pointers.
Yeah, he's like a stretch.
Yeah. And now they're going to have 2 roster spots that can pick up people. Maybe they can pick up guys like Melo or just contract guys, Ray Allen, right? Kobe Bryant comes back, whatever it is. You get roster spots.
Chris Bosh we'll get into, but
there we go.
I do. Okay, so this is what I heard, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. So obviously listening, I heard there's this theory out there that LeBron James, obviously with the team he's assembled, is different than any other team he's kind of been a part of. For one, they're young. For two, usually he gets old veteran shooters. Not so good defensively, but stretched so he could drive. Now they got defensive young players who are playmakers. So and I think that's good for him. But you're like, who's your big? They just Lopez left. I think LeBron James is going to play the 5. I really do. Maybe not the whole season. Because look, one, he's getting older. So I'm not saying he's going to start with the Lakers as a 5 right away, but I definitely think it's something to look at to try to beat the Warriors because you had let's just assume in a perfect world Kawhi Leonard's a Laker, you somehow kept Kuzma, right? I think if LeBron James plays the 4-5 position more in the post than ever, it'll help elongate his career because he won't be worrying about playmaking as much.
Extend?
Yeah, okay. Extend. That's good too. It'll help extend his career because he won't be worrying about the playmaking as much. And who better to get a step on than a big defender? You'll definitely be quicker than anyone down there. So now defensively, he has Brandon Ingram or Kawhi Leonard guarding Kevin Durant. And for the playmaking, he'll always playmake. That's just in his DNA. But he has Lonzo and Rondo, so he can focus on scoring and what he can do best. I don't think it's crazy that he plays that stretch 5.
Justin, take it, and then I got something to go on big time. But you take it first.
I don't think stretch 5, especially if he wants to extend his career. I mean, because he's going to be – when you play the 5, you're banging every play you're banging down low. I mean, he's that's physical playing a 5.
At times, I think. Like, you know how they go Hampton's 5? Like, I'm not saying he'll start every game as a center, but I wouldn't be surprised if they thought about that.
I mean, I think he can play 1 through 5. He's done it. He's played 5 before in games in his career, but I don't know. I mean, honestly, I wish that they had more shooters because I mean, it never failed him before. I mean, he made it to 8 straight finals, and he's always had that where he had Ray Allen back in Miami, and Kyle Korver and J.R. Smith showed up 2 years ago.
I just don't think you could beat the Warriors with shooting.
But I mean, it's. I mean, they ended up doing it 2 years ago. I mean, people have to
Houston almost did it.
Yeah.
Okay, if Chris Paul doesn't get hurt, Houston outshot Golden State.
Yeah.
To be up 3-2.
I think it's possible, but I mean, he needs to have at least 1 or 2 shooters. I mean, they don't have any shooters right now. There's really none.
Ingram can shoot. I think Kuzma can shoot, and if you acquire Kawhi, he can shoot.
They're not snipers.
Yeah,
they're not snipers,
but they're not snipers. They need a sniper.
They need at least one. You need someone because if you don't have anyone that can shoot the ball from the floor, it's clogging the lane, and that's what LeBron wants to do is get to the basket. I mean, you have to have at least someone that can space out the floor.
I think you brought up Houston. Okay, what did P.J. Tucker do? Bullied the Golden State Warriors. Absolutely bullied. And I think that's why they got DeMarcus Cousins. Adds toughness. I really do think they're like, okay, I don't think you can really outshoot the Warriors. Even when they did win in Cleveland, they were physical with them. Like, obviously, we saw LeBron get in Draymond's face, got him suspended. I do think they're going to try to be physical, and they got players like Lance Stevenson, who has dog, who's physical, who blows in people's face. You got Rondo, who talks trash. I really do think that's what they're in the direction they're headed in.
All right, Cuzzo, you ready? Can I
right
come at
ahead,
you a
man.
little bit?
Go right ahead.
All right. So this podcast it started on debate with you and I with usually basketball. I think it started with Kevin Durant and Larry Bird, old school back in Robin's house, right? We had Chris Paul debates. We've had Lakers debates. We've had so much back and forth. We talk so much outside the podcast all the time, always sports. But this idea that you've had, right, might be the best idea you've ever had in your life.
Let's go.
I'm telling you, I love it. The more and more he talked about it.
I'm so scared.
No, LeBron is perfect as like a 4-5. The league is really going that way. Draymond and Iggy plays that spot.
Yeah.
He can almost turn into a little Karl Malone. Stop dribbling the ball. Stop working so hard for so many points. Let Ball create. Let Rondo create and just
That's what they do.
off to LeBron. LeBron gets a little right-hand hook like Hakeem Olajuwon. Let him rebound more. Let him block more shots. Just relax a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't have to run.
Don't lead the fast break. Get the ball and push it out for the fast break, and then you get your little 3-minute spurts. I think this is maybe the best idea you've ever had in locked-in history. I love it.
I don't know, man.
I love it.
As a 5, I don't know. I mean, he can do it in spurts, but consistently, I wouldn't want him playing the 5. It's just he's too. I don't know. I mean, you want him to extend his career. You want him to play as long as he can. And I mean, I don't know. I understand.
Is the 4 more realistic?
No, the 4. Yeah, 4's really. I mean,
Yeah.
he can start at the 4 and play the entire game out as a 4. That's fine. I mean, I can say it, but I mean, as a 5, I mean, you got to remember. I mean, do you want him guarding Embiid every time and Embiid backing him down every time and under the basket? I mean,
I'll take LeBron.
I mean, I'm saying LeBron's the best, but I'm saying you don't want him. I mean,
But-
they're going every possession. They're banging down low. I mean, that's just how it's going to be.
That's a great point with Embiid, but he is, to me, the best center in the East. My best center in the West is Karl Anthony Towns, but he is a West Coast guy, a cat, and he's not huge. So, like, the best centers in the league is Cousins, is Cat, is Embiid, and LeBron. In those games, maybe a little bit, you get a little bit bigger, but even in that, guys, I think LeBron D's up Cat. I really do. Like, I think that's no problem.
I can see that.
And he would still be the leading scorer as the 5. I'm not saying don't do any offensive responsibility,
but
Malone. You're in for the long run.
14 footers.
Yeah.
Stop. You know, every time for Cleveland, he brings up the ball. There's 20 seconds on the shot clock, and he creates drives. He uses so much energy, so much just everything, like his strength, so much mental to create for everyone else.
But with Rondo, I feel like he won't. I mean, if Rondo's starting as a point, then he won't have to do that anymore. He won't have to bring the ball up every possession. So he can start as a 4 or as a 3. And I mean, I think he'll still be fine that way because it was really smart for him to get Rondo because that's the whole.
Yeah,
I mean, I was hearing a lot of times one of the reasons why Philly was such a good opportunity for him was because he wouldn't have to bring the ball up every time, and that's kind of what he was trying to back away from because he is now getting older, and you don't want to have him take the ball up every possession with a 24-second shot clock. So I think if Rondo's starting as the 1. I mean, there's no reason why he can't start as a 3 or as a 4.
That's true. I think this is perfect. And if they get Kawhi Leonard, you have everything you want. You have playmakers, you have someone to defend the best player, and you can relax. I do think, and they're thinking about the long term, and the 2 smartest players I would ever say to play the game is LeBron James and Magic Johnson.
Great call. And another great call with your LeBron playing more big 4 and 5 minutes. Right now, the Lakers' strength of
I'm
this
still
team,
smiling from what you said. This is almost my best idea. God,
I wish I came up with it. Their team, the heart of their team right now is Ingram and Kuzma, and they're 2-3. And if they 2-3-4, and if they get Kawhi, he's a 2-3-4. It's almost they have so many. KCP Pope, he's a 3.
Yeah,
Stevenson's a 2-3. Guy. It's like they got tons of 2s and 3s and /4s. Hey, LeBron.
They don't have any bigs besides
You're playing
JaVale,
5
really.
this year.
And
the starting center, Western Conference All-Star team, LeBron James.
That's really how it is now in the All-Star game, too. It really is.
You want to talk about another center in the West?
Yeah, I do.
Can we jump to this?
Okay. Yeah, I do. And I know you're a big man, Justin, but
the news we're talking about is DeMarcus Cousins.
Breaking news.
He signs with Golden State. It was around July 4th, July 5th. It was a day after LeBron made his announcement. And just the league, social media, Twitter, Facebook just went absolutely berserk.
You know Ernest Cantor. He probably says the smartest things. I always agree with everything he says.
Gotta love Cantor.
Yeah, you got to agree with him.
Legend.
No, everyone's like, I'm not watching the league anymore. But can we just – I get the initial like, okay, the best team just got DeMarcus Cousins. I'm done. Like, I do get the aspect of this seems unfair. But I do think everyone was a prisoner of the moment. I was too. Like, I called you, and I'm like, okay,
I was too.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. But now sitting back at it, you want to take the floor first?
No, yeah, just for one, he's hurt. He's got a torn Achilles. He thinks he wants to start around training camp. He's not. Let's lock that in right now. He will not play in 2018. He'll play in 2019, January, February, March, after All-Star break in that Valentine's Day area. I think that's when he will play. 2 is he is coming off an Achilles injury that we talked about.
Nobody's been the same.
Nobody. And the number one guy, Nick Wright talked about it today, Elton Brand, who threw up 20 and 10, 20 and 12. He was a first pick overall, great player from Duke. He was a Clipper and a Sixer, but mostly from the Clippers. He was a stud, 6-time All-Star. He tore his Achilles, and he was good, a 15 and 8 guy.
Never
still
the
in the league,
same.
Just never the same. Lastly, to say about him, he's a freaking knucklehead, and I hated him from day one. You always talked about this. Hate's too much of a word. Dislike. I just think he's never been good for a team. He's not a team player. He's an eye guy. So many things. Kentucky, just all that nonsense. Even as a Pelican, we make fun of the Pelicans. They've never won a playoff series. Anthony Davis never won a playoff game. He gets hurt, and they sweep the Blazers, like upset the Blazers. There's just something about it. I just do not like Cousins on a team. He's talented more talented, probably the top 3, top 5 centers in the league, talent-wise.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't want him, and especially Golden State. I know you always want to get better. You always want to try to evolve, but sometimes don't get happier than happy. Like the Warriors were fine. Like they weren't going to lose the championship next year.
PJ Tucker
Those
got in their
4
head.
guys, it's like I just didn't think they needed that move. Like that could be a blow up the locker room kind of a move, and I just don't think they needed it. Just re-sign McGee.
Justin, you brought up a good point. You said this has never happened 5 All-Stars. So when you first heard the news, did you have the reaction everybody else did?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't like it just because I didn't like. I mean, it's his choice. As a professional player, if that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. I mean, if he feels like if it's the best for him, then he has every right. Just like KD had every right to go to the Golden State if he wanted to. If that's what he felt like was best for him, that's what then he does it. So I don't blame him for doing it, but I just didn't like it just because from like a fan of the NBA, you don't want to see 5 All-Stars on one team, especially a team that just
dominated everything.
Dominated
Swept the NBA Finals.
And back-to-back champions. The year, couple years before that, that what was
73
it?
and 9. Add
wins?
Kevin Durant, win 2 championships, sweep the finals.
Well, that's why. That's one reason why I didn't like. You don't really need to add anyone else, and you're not just adding someone else. You're adding, another All-Star to your roster. And those are good points. He's hurt, and he's not really a team-oriented player. He's a really good individual, but as a team player, he's not very. And I've seen that from when I was playing in college. There's kids I was playing against. They're studs, like straight up. These kids can play, but they don't win any games because it's 5 individuals.
Yes.
Play. So he's it's kind of like you're adding a cancer cell into a team, and you don't want that cancer to spread. So it's either he's going to change his ways. It's going to go one or two ways. He's going to change his attitude, and he's going to adjust, or he's not going to change his attitude, and it's going to kind of blow up in the Warriors' face.
Those are all great points. And I'm going to take it a step further. Everybody said this was a chess piece move. Like, this was incredibly smart by him. But I think they're reading it the wrong way. He didn't do this for this move. He did it for another move in advance. Because
good call.
They're like, oh, he took a pay cut. Everyone should do that. He took a pay cut to make more money, if that makes sense. He took a pay cut so he can prove, hey, I'm valuable, I'm that guy, because no one really wanted to offer him. The Lakers passed up on him because of all the reasons we just said. So by winning a ring gives him validation and a way to make more money in the future. That's my first thing. The second thing is when someone's trying to play for a contract, what happened with that? Isaiah Thomas left Boston. He went to Cleveland. The next year he has an opportunity to get the Supermax, just get a big contract. What happened with that? He was all about him. He clashed with Kevin Love because he's like, I want to take the more shots. So, Dave, like you just said, somebody who's already not a team-oriented guy, wanting to prove to the league that he deserves a big contract. I just think that is the recipe for success, but pretty much 96% of the rest of the world would say it's now they're winning it. You're overthinking it.
No, I still think they're winning it just because they have the 4. If Cousins doesn't work, Steve Kerr goes, hey, DeMarcus, take a leave of absence. We're fine with you. Pull a Kawhi. Like, hey, we'll see you outside the postseason. So I still am predicting Golden State to win the NBA Finals already next year. The cancer cell was I love that analogy or point or whatever. If you're Houston, Lakers, even Boston or Philly, those are the next 4 or 5 teams around Golden State to try to win a championship. You have to make a bold move. You have to take, reach at the end of the limb to grab the fruit to try to win the championship. Maybe they make it. But if you're the Warriors, you don't have to do anything.
I've never heard that analogy before, by the way. Never.
Fruit is always at the end of the tree limb, right?
It's a good one. I'm not mocking it. I'm just saying never heard it.
Sean, you're my analogy guy. Is that a good one or a bad one?
I'll allow it.
Yes.
Okay. No, it makes sense.
It's low-hanging fruit. But.
The Warriors can take that risk. They can. The other teams can't rely on him, too.
You say they can.
I feel like they can afford it more because they can cut him. Ultimately, they can.
They could.
Like, if the Lakers invested money into him, they're relying on him to be the 2 or 3 guy. They already have 4 All-Stars.
They can, and it's a great point, and I agree. But Zaza and McGee they had roles. They had defined roles. Zaza set great screens. We didn't, how much
Cheap
dirty.
Zaza.
McGee, remember, like in the first 2 games of the NBA Finals, he didn't miss a shot. Like he was like 12 for 12 from the field.
He really didn't.
I know.
He's a Laker now. Laker great.
Laker great. That's a Gator great. Come on, bro. So my point is, I'm not trying to upswing Zaza and McGee how great they are. My point is they had players in those defined roles. You don't need a shooting setter. You don't need a score out of that spot. You need someone to set picks and dunk. And now if you cut Cousins, they're small.
So
they're real thin, and they have no depth or no bench or bigs.
Who's your, what do you tell Clay? Like, it's free-flowing offense, but a big man doesn't do what a guard does typically. Like there is the stretch 5, but not every possession is he going to be a stretch 5. At some point, he's going to need the ball in the post.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to take away from Clay. Take away from, we saw it. We talked about it. We saw it with Houston. They started to go a little towards KD isolation.
Yeah.
Now you're getting a big man who goes isolation. So
And the last closing point on Cousins, and this is a great stat. I heard it like 2 days ago. You know, DeMarcus Cousins shot more three-pointers than Klay Thompson last year?
Get out of here.
True story.
I never knew that. That's interesting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Why?
More
Like,
he attempted
he got
more
better.
threes. No, he was decent. He shot like 32,
You're
34%.
unstoppable in the paint,
But just
though.
that's what he does. That's DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh, and now he already thinks he's the third splash bro. He's gonna go
Yeah.
pulling up.
And also, I mean, when I first heard the news, the first thing that I thought about was like a flashback, and I know it's not the same situation, but when Dwight Howard went to L.A. and because Dwight Howard, when he went to L.A., he was a cancer cell for Orlando. I mean that he was an individual player that he had to leave Orlando just because it wasn't.
He's like that.
Yeah,
now,
that was his personality. It's the same type of personality that Boogie has, and when he went to LA, everyone thought, "Dang, like LA is about to be that team." Like
Steve Nash,
and
Kobe.
they went and he. I think ultimately, Kobe couldn't stand him, and he affected the team in the wrong way.
Correct.
And so that's one of the first things I thought about was like this might turn into the whole LA situation back. I think it was like in 2012 or something like that, and I don't know. I think that it could turn in that same way where it blows up in the worst ways. I know it's not the same situation because
They're
the Warriors
different.
have 4 All-Stars already and they can cut
And
them.
they have
Back-to-back
different
finals.
attitudes. They really do.
Yeah, but with Boogie joining that team, it's going to go one or two ways. It's going to either blow up and it's not going to work out for him, and they're going to have to cut him. And then when you cut him, now you don't have a big to really fill in the spot. Or he'll change his attitude and he'll adjust and they'll be fine. But that's just my opinion.
Coach Joe Giddens just joined the Facebook. We just want to say what up, Coach Joe. Mainland Bucks going to have a strong year next year.
I do have to call you out too, Coach Joe.
Woo!
Joe Giddens. I love you, but you've been ducking the one-on-one. We were going to put it on the live, and we were going to say, let's play one-on-one. You said anytime. I called him. I want to play you. So if you want to play one-on-one, just let us know. 2-on-2, Atlantic alumni versus you and whoever you want to bring. It could be Vince. I don't care if it's Vince. Vince and you versus me and Justin. Huh? Did you say anything? Yeah, I'll dunk on Vince. No, we need we need Vince to get locked in, though. We really do.
Oh, man. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's go to Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, I want to talk about the guy who made the worst move in his NBA career. Can we talk about that guy?
What?
You know who I'm talking about, right?
Worst move of NBA career? Maybe
Yeah.
Dwight Howard joined the Washington
Anybody?
Wizards.
That's
his
actually probably his
17th.
best move right now. That really
No.
is. He doesn't have another move.
You're not talking about how great and how loyal and how good of a person Paul George is to stay with a great MVP candidate, a triple-double machine, a good person in Russell Westbrook. They're going to join together. They're going to fight in the West to win playoff series. Paul George, smartest man in America. 2020.
Okay. All right.
I
Listen,
think that was
dude.
bad.
Okay. For one,
You're going to hate on him, aren't you?
what you just said with DeMarcus Cousins, this is the one point I'll defend Paul. Your career, your move, I respect that. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. But from my perspective, as a podcast who gives opinions, I'm going to say this. For one, you said you wanted to play for L.A. Okay, if you change your mind, cool. But then don't say it's about championships. Just don't. If you even want to say he'll win playoff series, and we could even debate that, cool. Don't say championships is your number one priority then. Because clearly if championships was your number one priority, you would have gone to L.A. with LeBron James. You got a huge payday. And if I had $300 million right in front of me, I would be talking differently too. But from that perspective, don't say it's championships. Because if it's championships, you and Westbrook may be amazing. But them two alone won't win it. You need another guy. Getting paid $300 million makes it hard to get another guy.
Well,
So-
that's the other guy, all of his millions of dollars.
Yeah, exactly. So, and Russell Westbrook, you already know how I feel about him. I don't think he makes people better. I think he's selfish. He loves boosting his stats, and I get it. He's a tremendous talent, top 10 player in the league, but he doesn't result in making others better. And that show with Paul George, obviously the payday allows you to get over it. And if that's what he decides to do, cool. But I definitely think he made the wrong move, 100%. Passed up on your city, and you passed up, which ultimately you probably would make more money in the end, being in L.A., there's so many more business opportunities there than there is in Oklahoma. And on top of that, maybe not the contract perspective. Obviously, he got paid more at Oklahoma.
Sure.
And secondly, an opportunity to play with somebody who's going down as an all-time great. I just think there's nothing that you can even compare to that. What you can learn from him and what you'll be able to do. You may be able to play in the finals. You may be able to play against the Golden State Warriors and be that number one thing, and you'll never be that now. That's how I feel.
Sure. No, hey, everyone has their own opinions. But for me in life and almost anything, job, sports, podcast, anything, it's a lot about fit, right?
He fits great with Russell Westbrook, huh?
He does.
You talking about the 2
It's
for 16 game at the end when
Vanilla
Westbrook took
and
43
chocolate.
shots
Yeah, Russell's a little
and lost to the
hyper.
Utah
Paul George
Jazz?
is a little slow. Every team loses. You know, LeBron got swept. At
In
least
what?
Thunder didn't
The
get swept.
finals, not in
But
the
he did get
first.
swept. My point
Justin's
is,
shaking his head. I can't wait.
he's like peanut butter and jelly with Russell Westbrook. They get along. They're good friends. And there's something that you just can't relate. You got to, if you want to play with that guy. And let's just throw it out. He's a 3. He wants a lot of shots. He wants to score. He wants to be a 3. Melo is moving on, right? If you went to L.A., LeBron is kind of in that 3-4 range. They're talking about Kawhi Leonard. He's a 3-4. If they don't trade Kawhi, they have Ingram, Kuzma. We just talked about it, 2-3-4. Maybe he just didn't want to. A lot of forwards there. He is the forward, the man in OKC, and him and Russell are going to join forces and play great ball
Before
together.
I let you go, Justin, he could be the man. He could fish all he wants. He can have fun when he's watching the playoffs from home. And
gosh.
secondly, he's not peanut butter and jelly. If anything, it's like peanut butter and bread. It's like you can eat it. It's pretty good, but Russell Westbrook's the peanut butter, and he's just there. Jelly means they coexist. They do not coexist. As the number 2 guy, you have
called Paul George bread. He does
Paul
have a
George
lot of bread.
is
300
bread.
million.
Bread. Go ahead, Justin. The floor is yours, man.
Well, I mean, Paul George. I mean, he is a great talent, but I mean, him staying in OKC, I think was a wrong move. I mean, they're not going to. I mean, they might make. Honestly, they might make the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. They struggled to get in. I mean, just this year, imagine they struggled and they had Carmelo. Now you lose Carmelo because that's what's going to happen.
Addition by subtraction.
I mean, I don't like it together. I mean, he's not an individualistic player, but he's just not. Them together, they're not gonna. I mean, they're not gonna make out of the first round, in my opinion. If they make the playoffs, they're not gonna make out of the first round. So he's going. If he wants to go, it's kind of what Melo. It's kind of what like Melo did before. I mean, he's going to. He's taken this contract, and it's for himself to look good, to get his numbers. That's great, and that's what Melo did. But at the end of the day, Melo never won any championships, and that's kind of hurt his career when people talk about his legacy. And I think it's going to hurt Paul George's legacy the fact that he's staying in OKC.
Amen. What's going on, Dave?
Donnie on the Facebook page is saying he's not the man in OKC. It's
No,
Russ's,
he's not.
It's
Russ.
Russ's,
It is Russ's team
peanut
at
butter
least
and
the
bread.
at least the next 5 years.
Peanut butter and bread.
No, it's peanut butter and jelly. You need 2 or 3 players on a team to win championships. I think they're really good friends, and I think that Paul George thought on the team itself, he fits in as the 3-4. He's this shooter. He's the scorer. He's the number 2 guy on the team. And if he goes to L.A., he wouldn't be the number 2 guy on the team, and there's just too many players in his position.
I'm not denying the friends part. Like, I don't know anything about friends. They seem to be close. LeBron's friends with Melo also. He loves Melo.
Okay.
He's had multiple opportunities to play with Melo. He knows it's not a good fit with him.
Okay.
He chased money. I guarantee you if the contract was, hey, you get $50 million here, you get $50 million here, choose a spot, he wouldn't have gone to Russell.
Cuzzo, do you like Port Orange, Florida?
It's okay.
Where you like Orlando, Florida? You like to live in Orlando? There's stuff to do. There's Disney World. There's beaches.
I'm a Los Angeles guy.
Okay.
Fine, yes, okay.
My point is, so if you can stay here in Florida, we can work together.
Yes.
I think we like each other, and I can pay you.
Depending on how this conversation
And I can pay you $200,000 to stay in somewhere you like, and to work with
Is
someone you
this
like.
the breaking
and
news at the end of the show?
$200,000. Or you can get $80,000 and work in Tennessee. What would you want to do?
What if it's the other way around, Dave? You're the guy in Tennessee I get to work with, but I take less money. But I enjoy working with you, and I think we could succeed more. I can get paid more and not have as much fun and not have that big of a role in Port Orange. But with you, I'm taking less money, but I'm playing with someone who elevates me. That's how I would look at it.
No, that's a positive side to look at it, but a negative side is he thinks he's going to go there, make less money, and not play a significant role in LeBron chasing another ring.
All 3 of us love Colin Cowherd.
Mm-hmm.
The number one thing I usually take away is don't chase money, chase management.
Okay.
I mean, think about it like this. I mean, he's never
You
won
know
a
that's good.
championship. He's never won a championship. So think
Never
about
been
it.
to an NBA
Don't
Finals.
you want to like? Don't you really want to know what it feels like to win a championship? Even
Absolutely.
if that means that you're gonna have to take a pay cut and maybe lose some minutes, like. And I'm not saying it's guaranteed that they're going to win a championship if he goes to L.A., but his chances are better. So don't you want to
For
put
sure.
yourself in the best opportunity to win a championship? I mean, is that like I understand he's getting a lot of money in OKC, but I mean, I always thought what Chris Bosh did when he took the pay cut to go to Miami, what Boogie Cousins is doing I mean, he's taking a pay cut to go to Golden State to know what it feels like to win a championship. I mean, I feel like that's what he – I mean,
why
if
I
you're
said it's
Paul
not his
George,
priority.
you want to know – I mean, if I was in this situation, I would want to know what it feels like to win a championship. So I would want to put myself in the best opportunity to win a championship. So, I mean, that's why I didn't like the
I
fact that he
100%
stayed.
agree with what you just said. I really do, and I'm that guy too. We talk about it all the time. I
Take a
don't
pay
get
cut.
it that Chris Paul should have taken a pay cut and go to L.A. George could have went there. Kawhi would have traded. They all should have went to L.A. and win championships and beat Golden State. But just generational wealth. $300 million, guys.
It's so funny.
That's
Like,
a lot.
you'll take a pay cut. You're getting paid $100 million. It's like, okay,
He's making still a lot. I mean, he's going to make. I mean,
you're gonna only take $100 million, Paul. You're gonna have to live
But
with
you know what?
$100 million. I'm so sorry.
Those planes are really expensive to fuel, guys. It takes a lot of money to
$100
fuel
million,
those
You'll
jets.
be okay.
for a couple years, I'm willing to take that pay cut and put myself in the best chance to win a championship. I mean, if it doesn't work out, at the end of the day, he can move somewhere else and he can be the man at some other team and make all that
The
money
Drew
right
League.
back. Yeah,
The
I
Drew
mean,
League, he'll be there watching the playoffs.
What's up, Shawnee?
We got Facebook chiming in. It says the Wizards are taking the East. The Cavs are done. Wizards are the next team.
I'm
up.
sorry. Who said that?
That's Richard Motley.
Wow, the Wizards. For one, I'm just throwing this out there.
No.
I actually like Washington this year.
Thank you.
Bradley Beal's, you know me, I'm a Gator great fan. I love Beal. I think Wall will be healthy, will take a step up. I actually have Washington in that
Yeah, they'll be good.
3 through 6 range in the East. It is a Boston Celtic,
I was gonna say,
Philadelphia
it
76er,
is,
2
yeah.
racehorse, end of discussion.
Kyrie coming back.
Oh, Boston's
Yeah.
gonna be
I
loaded,
appreciate the
guys.
feedback, like for sure. I couldn't disagree more. I definitely think they're a top team. Like Toronto's a top team, but it's definitely Boston and Philadelphia. And everyone's pro Boston, and I get it. They're probably the favorite over the 76ers. I wouldn't count out the 76ers just yet. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I want to count them out, but I mean, Boston
Is
Okay,
nice.
you have Jason Tatum, who's going to be even better than he was this year, and that was, I mean, he just had a unbelievable.
But really,
rookie
will he
year.
though? With
Oh,
Gordon
yeah.
Hayward coming back, that has to limit
He's-
him somewhat.
I mean, his number. I mean, his minutes are going to be limited. But I'm talking about his
Production.
His production is going to be better. He's going to be better than what he was before. I mean, if you see, I mean, we were watching before he was working out with playing 1-on-1 with Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid.
You look like you
I mean,
and I.
He's,
No, you
he's-
know,
he's-
you're
no.
beat. I'll be Jason Tatum. I'll turn around.
But so I mean, he's gonna. I think his production is gonna be better. You have Gordon Hayward coming back. You have Kyrie coming back. And I don't know if Gordon Hayward's gonna be what he was before because of the injury. I don't know yet. But you just have so much talent. I mean, Al Hort. I mean, that is a really good team. The Boston's nice.
What are you laughing at, Dave?
Sean's making fun of me behind my back, but through my phone.
That's how we
But-
do it today.
Yeah.
But no, it's true. They are deep.
No, they're amazing. I got Boston right now winning the East. If nothing crazy happens, like a Kawhi trade or anything else,
Lakers,
they are
Celtics.
loaded. That'd be awesome. But I got Golden State winning the championship probably for next year. Let me just throw out a couple stories, a couple names, and then you guys can jump with it, and we'll just go back and forth. One, Chris Paul decided to stay in Houston. Crazy 4-year, I think $160 million contract. We'll talk about that. But that makes Trevor Ariza leave. And say the other guy's name.
Clint Capella.
No, Luke Monta, the other forward for the Rockets. He's gone now, too.
Oh, Abamute.
Yep, Mamute. Awesome job. Devin Booker signed the extension, 5-year, $158 to stay in Phoenix. I love that. And I just want to sprinkle in the Greek Freak. I want to talk about the Milwaukee Bucks. They're my dark horse in the East coming next year. But those 4, you guys want to jump?
Quick point I'll start off with for sure is, well, you and I have debated about Chris Paul as much as we've debated about Russell Westbrook. Sometimes I think he,
I am a master
to be
debater on
judged,
Chris
yeah,
Paul.
to be as a judge all-time great, I feel like he's underachieved at some points. Dude, okay, even you have to admit this as a pro Chris Paul guy,
Mhm.
this hurt the Rockets. And we have people getting mad,
Yeah.
oh, DeMarcus Cousins, the Warriors are cheating. No, they're being smart. They're having people take pay cuts. That's why you're not the Golden State Warriors. You're demanding more money, and that's
Yeah.
why you have key pieces. And Trevor Ariza is not James Harden. He's not Chris Paul, but he's a key defender on the wing who shoots
Yeah.
threes in
Concur.
an offensive-type system. that's a notch. Not like saying this hurts his career, but it definitely will in the long run because I don't think there'll be a serious threat to the Warriors now.
Yeah, I don't. Anyone
like last
taking
year.
max contracts never hurt. It's almost like a good thing that they make more money. Kevin Garnett has made the most money in the NBA history, I think, with contracts. But yeah, Chris Paul and the Rockets. Well, let's talk about the Rockets. I really think that with Chris Paul staying, making all that money, and Clint Capella's on the fence, and them losing 2 forwards, man. And then with LeBron going to LA, I just don't have him. I have, and then people are going to think I'm crazy. I have the Lakers already as the number 2 best team in the West.
Me too.
I just think in a 7-game series, give me LeBron and probably another piece, or LeBron, Ingram, Kuzma.
Young assets, defenders, athletic, go out and run.
I don't like Houston's team. Like, they just have too many Gerald Green, Ryan Andersons right now. I don't like it. And then Clint Capella's huge. We'll talk about this in the upcoming weeks.
He may stay. Like, there's a possibility he does, but as of right now, they're like on a difference as far as like talking about who gets what.
Very true. And
$40
if he
million
does stay,
difference.
and the worst thing is it's one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't. If he leaves, that stinks. You lose a piece and a valuable piece to Houston. If he stays, that means they've overpaid for Clint Capella. They just overpaid for Chris Paul. They are like in salary cap hell. If
Talk
he
about
stays.
Carmelo. They're like the favorites to land Carmelo because they're that desperate. He's not going to get paid a lot, but they're
God
desperate.
bless you.
I mean, Houston. Okay, Houston. I'll say this. Houston right now, they're third for me. I have Golden State, LA, Houston. Financially, I think they are in some trouble. They definitely. I mean, they really did overpay for Chris Paul. Chris Paul. I mean, he's a great point guard, but I don't think he's worth all that money.
Not anymore. 8 years ago, of course.
Yeah,
but not anymore.
And he's injury prone. I mean, he got injured in the conference finals. You don't know honestly what you're going to get out of him. And in the season, but when it comes down to the final or to the playoffs, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. Mm-hmm. And then as well, I mean, you want to keep Capella. I mean, he's a great big. I mean, he's great around the rim. He can
has
catch
good
a lot.
feet
Yeah,
on the perimeter.
He has a lot of potential.
He fits.
But yeah, he's and they. I mean, if they keep him, that'll be great. But like what you were saying, like if he leaves, I mean, oh well. And especially if you want to get Melo. And honestly, I'm not the biggest Melo fan. I mean, I've never. He's a great scorer.
He kind of fits.
He's a great scorer, but I mean, I don't know. If you want to have, I mean, think about it, you have Harden now, who's I mean, Harden's an unbelievable scorer.
MVP
with Melo as a top scorer. I mean, which one's going to be your? Are you going to tell Melo, hey, you're going to be the 2-man? And Melo doesn't like being told he's a 2-man. He likes to be
I'm
the
not
number
a Melo
1
fan.
So that's why I don't know if Melo and Harden together is going to really work. So that's why I'm not feeling too confident in Houston right now. They're definitely not. I don't see him going to the conference.
That's a
finals.
lot of shooting and not a lot of defense from Melo and Harden on one team. That's a
Melo is a scorer. Melo is not. He's not a.
Is he a scorer at this point? Like,
well,
I mean,
he can't really shoot threes. He's less athletic.
That's his one asset. If he has a positive for a team, is he can put 18 points in the bucket.
I think this episode's already been amazing.
Yeah,
we've covered so much NBA. Okay, I'm a LeBron homer. Everybody, Sean and I went at it. Yeah. That was pretty good. But Sean and I have gone at it, obviously, and the community debating back and forth. Obviously, Gary and I are having our battles. Listen, at the end of the day, you can call me a LeBron homer. He could be my favorite athlete, but I do think we're going to look back at it and be like, we really did just put him under a microscope and critique every little thing he did. And I feel like you rarely get someone like him, like a Jordan, like a Magic, and I just wish everybody would enjoy what they see. And almost like what you said, instead of comparing him to people, I think it's going to get to a point where we don't enjoy it. And I just wanted to say this, not just from a LeBron perspective, like I'm a homer, but it really is amazing what we see because he's changing a team that was not even in the playoffs last year to we all three agree that we think LA will be number 2 in the Western Conference next year. Yeah. Like that's amazing.
So to continue what we discussed on,
it's
all good. No, it's actually you're hopefully like what I have to say.
Oh yeah.
I don't think any of my argument was trying to take anything away from LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I was more lean towards is the circus show that it's become, and not necessarily blame it on LeBron. I think it started with the decision, which. There's good and bad with that whole thing. Yeah, we know, the whole media spectacle was bad, but what he did for the community of the Boys and Girls Club was really good. But I think my biggest thing when we talked about mobility and we talked about the times now versus then, I think more so it's the media and the storylines about the free agency that gets overblown and gets over talked about. Like my little meme that was supposed to be funny was about we didn't discuss like where was Jordan going at the end of the year, but it seems like LeBron's contract or anybody's contract now, that's the story. Which there was movement back in the day.
I'm gonna have to fight to answer this question.
I get
know
you.
These guys are eager too.
There's movement. I'm not denying you there was movement. I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's the media spectacle. I think it's more what I'm upset with.
Okay, I'm not going to deny that the media brings it out of hand a little bit. But two things I'll make to that point. One, LeBron, the decision, he made a mistake but he kind of did the better thing the next time with the letter. This time, he didn't do anything. Like, he was silent. So, like, all that media that was on him was just because how powerful he shifts the league.
And that's the media's fault.
Yeah, that's the media. That's where I agree with you with. The second thing I would say with that is we're talking basketball way after the season's over. So, like, whether you like it or not, it has that LeVar Ball factor where if you're
hate LeVar Ball.
And I don't blame you. I'm just saying, as a commissioner, your dream would be I just want people to talk about my company, the NBA, as long as possible. And, like, that's exactly what happened. So I don't think it'll ever slow down.
No, and I understand that, but I'm also, like I said, I'm allowed to not like it.
I like player mobility because, like I said, if there's a better opportunity, anybody else would take it. Why can't a player?
Right. I just don't like.
The media perspective I get.
I don't like the circus show that it's become.
Yeah.
And I think back in the day with some of the mobility that we had with some of the players in the past, it wasn't the kind of spectacle it was because the Lakers kind of filled out like kind of a dream team, but they didn't really go anywhere when they had Karl Malone, Gary Payton.
Yeah, I'm about to say they tried doing it.
They tried to do it, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
But it's been there. And, whoa.
Breaking news.
Wow.
Okay, he's 6'7". If anyone wants to know, he's a big. So if you're watching this Locked In podcast, anyone that needs a big.
We need a contract. Orlando Magic, they could use it.
If you would like to sponsor the show, we need a new chair.
I'm 250, so I weigh a good amount. Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Oh man, talking about we definitely have a really cool, fun, big announcement coming on later in the show. We'll get into that.
And if you want to join that debate,
best.
it's on the Locked In community. Look for my funny Jordan meme and then Max hating it. It's all on there. But Max puts up a debate of the day every single day in that community, and it's really good. There's a lot of people going back and forth.
Mello, like I said,
yeah, the Bosch Mello from was it today or yesterday?
Yeah, it was today.
It was kind of a carry.
Yeah, you like the page, join the community, Locked In. Just real quick, we don't have to
Locked
go
In
too much
Sports
into it.
Podcast.
Yeah, Dave, Mello or Bosch?
100% Chris Bosh.
Now, who's the better player? Who has a better career? There are two different questions, but I think both ways you think Bosch.
Yeah, both ways I say Bosh. Everyone just brings up scoring right away. Yes, Carmelo Anthony in his prime is a better scorer, scored in different ways. Maybe top 3 scorer in his prime for like the 5-7 years. It was him, Durant, other players, maybe Harden, whatever. But passing, playing defense, IQ, rebounding, efficient, everything else goes to Chris Bosh. And, of course, making the smart move to join Miami. And then LeBron went there. He won 2 championships. And maybe, to me, the greatest play ever in NBA history. LeBron misses a 3. Chris Bosh gets the offensive rebound, passes it to Ray Allen in the corner. Miami hits the 3. Game 6 NBA Finals. They win Game 7. Chris Bosh, NBA Hall of Famer.
Bosh or Mello?
I'm taking Bosh on both those. I mean, I agree with what you're saying because think about it. Melo's a great scorer, like he was mentioning, and that's all he ever did. He's not going to be at the end of the day when 10 years from now and everyone's looking back on Melo's career 20 years from now, no one's going to talk about how many championships he won, how he's a great defender. The only thing that people are going to remember him as is just a scorer and someone that was able to get his numbers, and that was it. Bosh, when you look back on his career, you're going to remember the championships he won, and the way that he altered the game. I mean, he did so many things that don't go on a stat sheet for Miami when he was playing down there that people just don't. If you don't understand basketball, you don't realize it. I mean, he'd made so many plays that aren't going to go on a stat sheet that Melo never did. Melo didn't do in his career, and so when people, the people who understand basketball, when they look back at both these careers, they're going to understand and they're going to remember that. But Bosh won Bosh had a better career to begin with, and two, I mean, Bosh was more effective for his team than what Melo really was. Melo scored a lot, but he wasn't more effective for his team.
Yeah, he was who we talked about in a gym who just wants to score and shoot. I'll say this. I've been Bosh since day one with this. I've said Bosh even. No, I'm playing. I've been saying Melo, but here we go real quick. This is why
you
I
were Melo. I think I talked you into it, if I can say. I think I persuaded you a little bit on Bosh.
This is why I like the Locked In community, because we're the People's Podcast. I went in with Melo, and my mind has changed with Bosh. So thank you, Locked In community. You can like the page, like Locked In Sports Podcast, to join the community. Sean?
On the what if, again, I'm going to throw a what if.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of on there. I don't know. I'm not as huge basketball knowledge with some of that stuff as you guys are.
You're not a guru.
No.
Like
No,
Mr.
I'm
Van
a
Auken.
casual basketball fan.
See, I did that, so we're both Van Auken.
I like it.
Say Melo went to the Heat instead of Bosh. How would this discussion be different?
It would probably be Melo, but this is, we got into it on the community.
That was a good-ass question.
No, if he won 2 championships and Bosh stayed in Toronto.
But
I
will
think
he
it was
win
a
2 championships there? I'm just saying.
Oh,
I know you're
maybe-
going to say
no.
your point, but
LeBron in his prime, he was going to win titles there in Miami. Him and Wade, we'll community about it. Dwayne Wade's one of an all-time great, underrated. I love Dwayne Wade. Wade and LeBron were going to win championships. They didn't, honestly, back then they probably didn't even need that third person. And Bosh, towards his numbers went down in a way. LeBron was the best player in the league, and I thought Wade was the third in that moment, right? Melo, that's the difference. Melo wanted his own team on Denver and New York selfishly, wanted to be the guy and to score those points. And for 14 years, he went to the playoffs 2 or 3 times, winning 2 playoff series. That's all he won. And Bosh was in Toronto, kind of what Melo was doing, scoring 22 and 8, being an all-star. He's like, there's nothing here for me. It's the whole Cousins going to Warriors. It's all going to L.A. He wanted to win championships, so he made that smart decision, high IQ on the court
Team
and off
player.
the court. Huh?
Team player.
Yeah, and it became the team player, and his role got reduced. His numbers went down, but he got championships, playoff series, big moments.
you got something?
I mean, if it was different, and if Bosh stayed in Toronto and Melo came to Miami, I honestly think it would be different because
I do too.
I don't
really
think
do.
I don't think Melo going to Miami would fit
all.
nearly as well as
Agree.
it did with Bosh.
Yeah, like
But-
I get.
and
I
I don't
defend
even
LeBron
think
more
they
than
win a
anybody.
championship,
And-
though, guys?
I don't know. I mean,
LeBron and Wade?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, you have LeBron and Wade, but now you have to take out, like you just said, for
Bosh
example,
did play a role.
you
Agree.
just talked about how Bosh had arguably one of the greatest plays of all time.
Yeah.
Now you have to take that out and look at
Melo doesn't get that
No.
play. He's sitting in the
No.
corner.
And he
so
wants shots
stressed,
from
he didn't
LeBron.
shoot the
Yeah,
shot.
so that's why I'm like bringing Melo into Miami and taking Bosh out.
That's a good
Melo
point.
is a sucker.
That's
I
what I'm
mean,
saying.
It's a real good point.
and all my teammates, like when the whole ordeal happened last year, when with Melo going to OKC, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, OKC's gonna be so great." And I told all my team, I told them all that it's not gonna work because you can't have just having a player like Melo that's just it's me, and I want to score and let me get my points. You don't win. You're gonna have great stats and you're gonna look great on paper, but you're not gonna win these championships.
Dave, you said LeBron in his prime, and you said Dwayne Wade top 3, definitely 5 player in the league.
Yeah.
Take Melo when he was he was arguably in his prime in New York, right? You'd say Denver, New York.
Yeah.
So you're
He was a
taking
top
someone
10 player
who's
in the world
even
back then.
more even full of himself back then than he is now.
Sure.
So he would even want more shots from LeBron and Dwayne Wade. And I guess this podcast, I'm just calling everybody out today. I said Coach Joe and Vince Carter. I'm going to call out my friend Trey. Might as well. So we played basketball at Silver Sands, and you guys beat us. But you and Trey were the best players. Why did we lose even though we had the best players?
Because we were
Trey,
smarter, played more like a team.
Yeah, and Trey is Carmelo Anthony. I love him to death, but he's Carmelo Anthony. He's all about shooting and getting his buckets.
Gosh,
So-
whoever this Trey is, I feel sorry
You
for
met
you.
him. I almost said his full name, but Trey is like Melo, and it made us not win.
No, it's basketball's a 5-on-5 sport, and when
Whoever Trey is.
I know, whatever one guy's doing, but I just think regardless, you guys had really great points. I don't think they win 2 titles. I think LeBron and Wade wins titles. Like I just think they say Melo get in the corner, like don't talk. We're winning the championship. LeBron in his prime, guys.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
Shawnee.
Sean, real quick, 1 second. I'm sorry. It's not Trey Sanders, by the way. He sports the Locked In podcast all the time. So people are like, oh, Trey Sanders? No, it's not Sanders. It's another Trey. So just eliminate that one. Go ahead.
Mine was more of a question than a statement.
Okay.
So Melo was a 3, Bosch a 4 or 5?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so does that play a difference in
It
the
does.
role?
It
game?
It does. Yeah,
Oh,
that
for
does.
sure. Yeah, they would because LeBron in Miami played the 3, no doubt about it.
LeBron would have to play the 4, in my opinion, if he was
If
in Miami.
Melo went
yeah,
there?
if Melo was
Yeah.
there, he would have
And
to
that
play the
was
4.
before he was probably ready to play the 4.
Yeah,
And the league was thicker back then. They were guarding David West and the Pacers, who was a
Hibbert.
legitimate thick 4. So,
I mean,
it
think
would have
about it
been
too.
way different. It
You-
would have.
You would have had Tim Duncan, who you would have been going Dirk
Yeah.
when the first year. I mean, they didn't even beat the Mavericks
Forget
that
about
year.
that year.
And yeah, I mean that was incredible. That showed how you can have 5 really talented individuals and still lose. I mean,
Yeah.
the Mavs. I mean, they were all older, washed up, and they still won. And I look back
They
and
fit.
yeah, and it
That
fit
team.
for them. And it's the same thing. I mean, think about it, if you would have got rid of Chris Bosh and you would have took Melo, and you would have been playing against the Spurs in the finals, I don't know. I don't feel confident that they would even beat them once
It's a great
in the
point.
finals.
No,
really
it
is.
really is.
Because it's
Wow.
against the Spurs. I mean, you're going
Yeah.
up against I mean,
The
they're not the
smartest coach in the
yeah,
league back
they're
then,
not the
Pop.
greatest. They're not the most. I mean, like they're not the most athletic, and they're not the greatest individual one-on-one like they were when they were all in their primes. But together, all 5 of them with one of the smartest coaches, and they had a decent bench. I don't know.
They would go at it.
They
yeah.
probably beat OKC. I think that's the one they win.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
they were all
okay.
young, too, and Melo probably would have guarded
Yeah.
in between that Harden
Melo
Durant
and
age.
Harden would have had their meltdown battle in the
Yeah, or
finals.
just, hey, Melo, you're going to play on the bench. Like, LeBron and Wade was winning that final. So, no,
Yeah.
gosh, that's awesome. That could be a whole show.
I'm saying, yeah, we could be
Melo
here
to
forever, but
Miami.
we have big announcement coming up.
Yeah.
Dave, anything else you want to touch on, or are we ready to get locked in?
No, I think the NBA episode was awesome. We went all in depth, and we're going to get more in depth. Max and I, we're going to really lock in to Paul George to OKC. What does that mean? What's the future? Why? And what does that mean for other players on the team and all that stuff? So we're going to get more locked in later on next week. Coming up, a little mini part NBA series, but I thought it was a great episode. We got so much more episodes coming. We got World Cup, we got football, we got so much MMA to talk about in the future. But you want to go to the big announcement? You want to do it together?
Are we doing a big announcement before locked in, or?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we always end the show with locking in.
Okay, so for anyone that saw the Conor McGregor movie,
Yeah.
which obviously we love Conor McGregor here. We love the.
Who?
Oh boy. Okay, so at the end of the point is he obviously it was the path to his glory, to becoming a champion and seeing his whole process. And we feel that there is a superstar in the making with Michael Davis.
Michael
And
Davis from
he's-
Pete White's boxing and
Beast
MMA.
boy?
Yeah, he's going to be in Vegas to be fighting on the UFC Contender Series.
Dana White's Contender Series.
And we're going to be there, well, not in Vegas, but we're going to document it, and it's going to be called Beast Boy Week. And
Yeah.
it's going to lead up and
Yeah.
follow Michael Davis through the whole
We wanted
process.
as pictures, interviews, talk to him. We're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to do unbelievable shots. We're going to do it all. It's
You get
gonna
to watch him eat fit meals.
Yes, fit meals for sure. So next week on Locked In is going to be Beast Boy Week. We're just going to give him a whole week. We're just going to, we're going to wake up and say, hey, Mike, how are you in my house already? Hey, I don't know. Thanks for the key. But we're excited. We're
Yeah,
excited.
it's gonna be
July
special.
24th, Michael Davis will be on Contender Series. He's going to win. He's getting a contract, and then the journey begins.
Yeah.
And you
Right.
can watch that on Fight Pass,
Yes, UFC Fight Pass.
right? And you can. How do you sign up?
You sign up.
Just
It's
go to Dave's
$9.99
house.
a month, or you can come to my house on July 24th and watch it as well. Love you too. darling.
I want the ratings for that show to be good so that Dana can see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
he's-
want everyone in the 386 in Florida definitely to give it up. $9.99. Go to UFC.com. There's a little Fight Pass button.
And
I'll
if
be
you
putting
want,
it on 104.7.
if you want to support him too, you can go get his shirt. I'll throw the link up on our page
There you
for it
go.
too. I was perusing it the other night. I might payday. I might be getting. I might be buying 2 shirts.
Wow.
I got a little the Mike Davis shirt and maybe a little Kingslayer shirt.
I got the Kingslayer shirt.
Yeah.
You saw it?
No, I had them both
Oh.
in my cart the other night, and my
Yeah.
wife's like,
Oh.
"Wait till payday."
I bought the Chris Mixon shirt. We're going to talk about him next episode. He won. We'll get into that later.
Spoilers.
Oh, shit.
Here we go.
Okay.
Locked in.
You want me to go first?
Go right ahead.
Or how about the guest?
Justin, you ready?
I mean,
It's a lot of pressure.
you can go first.
Okay,
You
all
go
right,
first.
I'll go
Show
first.
them how to do it, Max.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me show you guys how to do this. So
Okay.
basically, my locked in, which is
LeBron.
it's going to happen. It's locked in. That means it's going to happen. You could bet your life savings on it. I said that he was going to win a championship his first year with LA. This is where you shouldn't have bet your life savings because I'm not sure that's necessarily true. I'm going to have, if they acquire Kawhi Leonard, they'll definitely be in the run, and I'll never count him out, but I wouldn't lock it in to win this year. But I'm locking it in to win next year. He'll bring a championship home to LA, and Kawhi Leonard will be there. They'll
By
acquire
year
Kawhi
two.
Leonard.
By year two.
2019,
two. Yeah.
2020 season.
Yeah, and I think by
Okay.
then, I'm not even going to get in the GOAT discussion, but winning winning championship for 3 different teams, that's going to be groundbreaking.
Wow, we haven't used that word like in weeks.
I know.
All right.
Justin, you want Dave to go, or do you feel like you can
I'll
follow
LOL.
it up?
I'll go. Okay, so
Okay,
my
okay.
locked in is on a different.
So
on
they're
a
betting their
different-
life savings.
I mean, I would just because I'm a big fan of them, but it's not. It doesn't even have to do with what we were talking about.
That's
Mine-
okay. It
mine
could be
is-
anything.
anything
It
you
could be
want.
about my hair.
France
Dave's
wins
hair?
the World Cup against England 2-1.
Damn.
Wow.
Score and everything.
That's
That's
awesome.
my opinion. That's my opinion.
Is it? Yeah, because you
Next
love
episode, we're
France.
talking about World Cup.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
They
That's a
had,
good
they had
locked
a
in.
big win. They had a big win today. They're looking really good. They took. I mean, I was surprised how good they played against Argentina in the first round, and I mean they took care of Uruguay pretty easily as well, 2-0 that game. So they're looking right now. They're playing like at the peak, which is right when you want to be playing at your peak is when you're going into the championship.
Sure.
So right now I have them winning it all.
And
You're about to be on the soccer field.
they're the second youngest team
They are.
in the
Mappe's unbelievable. He's going to be the next Ronaldo. I mean, he's 19 years old. I don't know if I mean, I don't know how many people pay attention to it, but he's 19 years old. He has 3 goals right now in the World Cup, and he said that every penny that he's making off of the World Cup, he's donating it to charity because he
Oh
doesn't.
my gosh.
He
That's
believes
amazing.
that. And at 19 years old, you know, someone that's going to be making all that money, usually you don't. That's thrown at a 19-year-old. They're going to spend it right away on something like
Yeah.
I do
ridiculous.
that at 34.
Yeah.
He's gonna donate all
Buying
the way
T-shirts.
to charity just because he feels like
Yeah, that's
that
awesome, man. I
that
love
representing
that.
your country's well enough. Like that should be enough for you. So
That's awesome.
I right now I have France winning it.
Well, you just showed me how to get locked in. So now, Dave,
One
you
of the
go.
best locked ins ever.
Yeah.
Before my locked in, let's just throw out about locked in this Saturday. We're actually going to be at the Orlando City soccer game team match
Yep.
extravaganza.
We're gonna be recording at a tailgate. We
Yes.
should have a guest. Hopefully, it should
Okay.
be good to go. I won't announce it until we.
So
you
if
know-
you're going out to that game, come say hi to us.
yeah, we should
Take
be there.
hugs
Yeah.
and Dunkin' Donut gift cards and
We'll pop
and
a
free
little
food.
couple of Facebook live videos from the stands, and
Oh, that'd
you
be
know,
sweet.
Have you been to a game? Haven't you guys?
I
those
haven't,
two
they
haven't.
have.
We've been to a couple.
This is
yeah,
my
they're
first.
They're taking
crazy. They're crazy. I sit
can't
in the,
wait.
I sit in the supporter section just because it's the cheapest.
We're bringing the wives, so we didn't
Man,
want to go.
Yeah,
there.
I was about to say, and there's kids that go there too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I went to the game this
Just
year.
come with us.
I wish, but I went to the game in Atlanta or against Atlanta.
Fuck Atlanta.
Did you see what happened in Atlanta or I mean against Atlanta? Were you part of it?
No, but fuck Atlanta.
Yeah, they were throwing bottles everywhere, and I mean they had to stop the game. I mean they couldn't continue it on.
It was a little classless, I think. But when Atlanta came, they stole fucking seats from the new stadium.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, they're.
It's a huge rivalry
It
with
is.
Atlanta
It is.
City.
I honestly I like it. I like it because I like
the
that
Yankees
rivalry.
and
It's
Boston.
yeah.
Duke, North Carolina.
Fuck Atlanta.
We're on Facebook Live. We got kids watching.
Jesus
It's 10
Christ.
o'clock, dude. There's no kids watching.
Oh my god.
Yeah, across the world, it's a different time right now.
And my school's in Georgia, and I'm right outside Atlanta, and everyone at my school loves Atlanta.
Please,
so
Justin, don't lean back anymore.
But yeah, it's a rivalry.
I was at a house the other day doing work, and I was home at the house by myself all day. And the homeowner came home, and he had an Atlanta United shirt on, and I wanted to be like,
No way.
I was like,
This
working.
is awesome. I
It's
had no
gonna
idea.
it's gonna turn into it's turned into a real rivalry.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
excited. Playing Saturday. Is it
Toronto?
Yeah,
Toronto? Is that
FC.
a rival? Is that a good game?
Toronto won the MLS last year,
Yeah.
and they
Dude,
beat
this
us.
is
I
awesome.
think it was like They played earlier this year, and it was up in Toronto, and I think it was like a 3-1
I
win
didn't
for
know
Toronto.
you were this into soccer.
Oh yeah, I love Orlando City. Yeah, and
Hell yeah, this is sweet.
The only problem right now, I mean, Orlando hasn't won. I think it's like 8 straight games
After winning like 6 in a row.
Yeah, it haven't won since
the game I went to. The last game I went to was the last game we won.
And then after that was when they played Atlanta and lost that game 2-1.
Yep.
That's when the game got.
We know how that went.
So I started watching a lot more after my first Atlanta game because I like that shirt. I have one too.
We got.
Oh yeah,
JT, the
I have a We
newest
Filled the Bowl
superstar.
shirt too.
But
Wow.
they're crazy, man. The soccer
Can't wait.
fans, man.
I'm gonna drink a couple cold. Yeah, I'm gonna drink a couple drinks. And
Oh,
then have fun.
we're going to the Moorhead tailgate, definitely. So
Uh,
you're going to be.
Okay.
Man. All right, well, guys, thank you so much.
I have to get locked in.
I haven't gotten locked in either, there, sir.
Ooh, Sean, you go first.
I thought you got locked in.
No, he was starting to. No, you were
Yeah,
starting.
go ahead.
Okay.
I thought
My
you
locked
finished
in.
it.
We talked about him and his team, and I think I'm off on an island. And sometimes I like being that way. I have Paul George and the Oklahoma City Thunder winning a playoff series this year. That's my locked in.
Just to reflect on that real quick. One, you definitely did get locked in. That's how this whole soccer thing got brought up. I just realized
No,
that. Yeah,
no,
come
he
on.
said
I
before
thought
we
he
get
said
locked in.
my Orlando City. We're
No.
going
We're
to
going
the.
to the game.
He
I
was just
want
talking about it. He said
everyone
before
to
I-
know that we're going to it.
Okay, my bad.
Oh, it's okay. No worries.
I don't think they win the playoff series.
Really, I think
Yeah.
I really do think year 2 of Paul George and Russell. I think they're two dynamic, great players, and they play better. And I think with losing Melo, it's addition to by subtraction. They get more shots. And an underrated player that got hurt last year for the
Robertson?
Thunder. Yes, for Robertson.
Great. He was arguably the defensive player of the year. Like he was
Yes.
on that pace.
And he's perfect in between Russell and Paul George. It's just, I think they're going to be really good, and I think they win a playoff series.
Literally cannot shoot a free throw. So he's
His
Shot
perfect.
hit,
Gold
for an
jacket.
NBA player, is the worst shot I've
Yeah,
ever
it
seen.
was, like,
it's like a
awful.
Sean Marion shot almost. It's
The
bad.
worst thing is Mary was actually a pretty decent shooter.
Yeah,
it was
it's
fun.
true,
Yeah. It was.
But yeah, Roberson's.
Sean.
Shawnee.
See, I actually came up with a basketball one since we were all basketball stuff, and then Justin had to go and throw a non-basketball in there.
that
So
was
it's,
awesome.
it's weird, So like I'm doing a basketball one. I think I had said before that if he doesn't stay with Cleveland, he's not winning a championship anymore. I think I said that already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay with that. I'm staying with that locked in. I think he will in these 4 years. He will play in at least 2 finals, but I don't think he's gonna win one.
Even coming out of the West. Because I think now he has a better shot at winning if he goes to the finals. I respect
Boston's going to be legit.
That
Just
that
throwing
was
this
my
out there.
my
Boston's going to
They
be
will.
really good.
my locked in was I was gonna say healthy team. Boston's got it next year.
it. Nice. It's not
Don't-
crazy.
can't
Like,
argue that.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
arguing that one.
Healthy team,
Yeah, that's for sure.
because that's what killed me with my last locked in.
Kyrie.
Was Kyrie, and then
You were close.
I was close because I almost had Houston Boston in the finals,
yeah.
but
2 Game 7s. It was amazing. All
Very
right,
cool.
Justin, where can they find you? Anyone that's watching this, they want to follow you on Instagram, Twitter. You know off the top of your head?
Are you talking about my Twitter account or my Instagram account?
Yeah, yeah.
No, where do
can
you
people
live?
find
What's your
you?
address?
Oh yeah, you want my address?
Yeah, where can people
know.
find you on
I mean, you
social
can-
media to follow you and
I
support
think
you?
it's Justin Vallejo 20 is
Cool.
that's my at name for basically everything, and then Facebook's just Justin Vallejo. So
Sounds good.
if people want to follow me, and hopefully I'll be able to sign a contract, and if I end up signing a contract and I go overseas, I'll be making some short videos on like how to get overseas and just kind of like the lifestyle, because there's not a lot of information out there about what it's like to play basketball in another country. Or
That'd be sweet.
so yeah, I'll try
Get
to
locked in via Skype.
Yeah, I'll try to help people fight for. I mean, because there's a lot of people that were like me last year trying to go overseas. So I'll make videos to help players, clear
That's
everything
cool.
up and show what it's like to play overseas and what the real lifestyle is like. So
That's awesome.
yeah, if they want to find me, they can. Yeah, and I'll be able to send that to you guys too, and I'll be able to do Skypes and stuff.
Cool.
So.
I'll give you a follow tonight.
Cool.
No, I'm playing. I follow you.
I was like, what?
anyway, guys, stay
Locked in.
We just had Justin Vallejo. What an amazing episode, Dave. Hit everything we wanted to. Chris Bosch, Carmelo Anthony. Thank to you, the Locked In community. I changed my mind. And also, Dave,
Yeah,
he probably had one of the best Locked-Ins ever.
he did. The France going to the World Cup, and they predict the score 2-1. I can't wait. Not wait for the World Cup final. I cannot wait up
Sunday.
for Sunday. Saturday night, guys, we're going to be in Orlando. I cannot wait, boys.
Orlando City boys. Go
Let's
to
do it.
I found out that when I talked to Justin, he said they cost $1 to use the restroom over in Europe.
Yeah, huge public urination program.
Yeah, no. Now the reason why I say this, we're going out in Orlando, so I'm going to charge $1 to take a picture with me. If they could do it, I could do it. That cool?
What does taking a picture with you and taking a piss have to do with it?
Wait, Max, can I pee on you on my picture?
Anyway, so I talked to Justin. Forget I even talked to him. Anyway, great episode. Please give him a follow. Justin Vallejo20 on all social media platforms.
Hey, guys, get shirts. I've been seeing a lot of our fans, a lot of the community with shirts, and that is awesome. It's at shop.spreadshirt/locked-in with 2 N's. That's shop.spreadshirt.com/locked-in. All right, guys, thank you so much.
You got something.
Okay.
So we're doing this documentary. It's Beast Boy Week.
Beast Boy.
We're going to be watching him eat fit meals sometimes. So when he's eating his meals.
Did you see that refrigerator picture?
Yeah. So definitely check out Fit Meals. If you're not on it yet, after this, you'll definitely be like, okay, I want to get like Michael Davis. You'll get on Fit Meals. We also have Wicked Cutz, getting the fresh cuts there. And guys,
I need a haircut and a low purine diet, so I might have to call 2 of our sponsors.
2 of the sponsors. And what's the cell phone number if anyone wants to call?
844-FIT-4U. That's 844-FIT-4U.
How about the studio? I had to call the Locked In Studio.
Oh, that too. That's a 386 area code. Or call my cell at not play. Don't call my cell.
If you want to call and debate anything that we have, you can always call.
I love
It
it.
is.
We've had so many people call in.
It is 386-516-0495.
Yeah, so call in at any time.
I think we got something now.
Okay, let's get to it.
All right, Donnie, calling in to the Locked In line. How's your night going, my man?
Well, great, Ron. How's yours?
It's going even better that you called. So what's on your mind to debate with Dave and I here?
Well, we can backtrack all the way to you wanting to trade away the entire Lakers roster for Kawhi.
Oh, no, that wasn't me. That was Dave.
That's
I said
me. I'll
don't.
take that.
Yeah, I said don't do that. Keep Kuzma because I feel like the more time that goes on, the more leverage the Lakers have.
Oh, turn the roster to Cleveland. Any of those young guys.
I'm sorry, say that one more.
Why would you do that?
Okay.
I said, if you start trading away everybody, you're going to turn the Lakers into Cleveland 3.0.
This is why why. You need superstars to win championships. You need superstars to beat the 5 all-stars that's in Golden State in the same conference now. They're not even it's not even about sneaking getting to the finals in the East. You have to beat Golden State to go back to the finals. So you need Kawhi, right? Like, do you agree that you need the Lakers and LeBron need Kawhi? Do you agree with that?
Necessarily need Kawhi. If you're going to have to start Anthony Davis play next year. Durant, new contract. He can opt out next year. Kawhi next year. Why would I trade away any of them? Any of them.
Just because I want to make sure you get Kawhi. Because we talked about this on this show. We talked about how everyone thought Paul George was going to be a Laker. And he decided, maybe.
Don't even get me started on that guy.
Thank you. I like Donnie. You need to call in more often.
But my point is you need to get Kawhi, who's an A+, who's a superstar, who's an all-team.
You're sending off. You don't just the whole team are one of the top 5 youngest rosters in the NBA. LeBron easily adds 10 to 15 more wins to that.
Yes, agreed.
So you're looking at a 47 to probably 52 win team next year, which in the West probably one, 2, 3 seed at the least, I'd say.
Okay,
So why would you give up? Like, I'm not saying I'm like the biggest Lonzo fan. I can live without Lonzo, but why would you give up Ingram? Definitely not giving up Kuzma, Lonzo, anybody for somebody who's going to be on the market next year. Whether he comes or not next year, that's fine. Anthony Davis, free agent. Clay's going to be a free agent. Kevin Durant can now opt out. He can be a free agent, which is very interesting that he signed a new contract with an option after he reportedly had already talked to LeBron about the Lakers.
Oh, okay. But that is reportedly, so that's all mischief. And if the Golden State Warriors win again, a three-peat 4 out of 5 years. I don't see them. The only player I see maybe leaving is Clay, and I would love if the Lakers would get Clay. I don't want to trade everyone, and I don't, but to whatever it takes to get Kawhi, who's an all-star, who's an all-team, top 5, top 10 player in the world, I just think you got to get him. It's easier, Donnie, to get C- and B+ players. Like, I don't know. Do you like Rondo? Do you like that sign-in?
I love Rondo signing strictly because he's either going to turn Lonzo into a man or he's going to turn him into a little something else.
Okay,
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
too.
I agree. So what I'm saying, it's easy to get, third-tier players. It's easier to get, maybe they add Korver to a three-point shooting team. Maybe they get a Jeff Teague. Maybe they can try to get Bradley Beal. But there's only one Kawhi Leonard. He's the best two-way player in the world.
I agree. If you're talking about beating Golden State's current team, yes, you need a superstar. But at the expense of what? At the expense of the future of the Lakers? Absolutely not.
Exactly. I feel the same way you do. I'm a Lakers guy. I'm a LeBron guy. So it's a perfect world for me. What I'm trying to tell Dave, and this is where we're kind of debating, is I want Kawhi Leonard now and for the future, for the benefit of both. I'm willing to give up Ingram, maybe even Josh Hart, but not when we have more leverage now as time goes on. I want to keep Kuzma. I don't want to get rid of Kuzma. If they're asking for everything, then I'll just wait until next season and take my chances. Are you with me on that?
Yeah, absolutely, because there's more than Kawhi. Kawhi, next year, say nothing changes. I think he stays a Spur. He winds up playing because no matter what anybody says, you're not going to hold out another full year. He's not going to sit on the bench for 2 entire years.
Agree.
He's going to play. So say, and all these guys go to free agency. You got Kawhi, you got Anthony Davis, you got Clay, you got maybe a Durant. Kawhi's obviously the number one of all of them. And if I can get Kawhi, yes, I want Kawhi, but I am not going to mortgage the future for him.
Exactly.
Because then you're going to turn into what Cleveland just is. And why would LeBron leave Cleveland, turn to L.A., just to have the same supporting cast?
Exactly.
You have all these
players.
guys that can shoot. Kuzma can shoot. Ingram can shoot. They're only going to get better. They're, 22 years old?
Yeah.
So they're only going to get better. You're not, I'm with you. If I had to trade one of the two, I would trade Ingram. But if I don't have to trade him, I'm going to keep him.
I couldn't agree more. You have young players who can guard any 1 through 3, even 4. Brandon Ingram's long. He's good defensively. I feel Kuzma's only progressing. He's still a baby. And the other thing that I don't think anyone's taking into account, the Spurs are clearly the ones that are saying, hey, we're in big trade talks with the 76ers because they want to put pressure on L.A., but nobody, back to your point, wants to give up so many pieces for somebody who could be a rental.
Yes, but the caveat to that is Paul George changed the rental game because
Yes.
a year ago he's saying I don't want to be anywhere but the Lakers. I don't want to be anywhere but the Lakers. I don't want to be. I'm from blah 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 blah. And then all of a sudden now he re-signed. So he did give people a little bit of hope that just because Kawhi is saying he wants to be a Laker now doesn't mean I can't change his mind, like you guys talked about.
Yeah.
If for some reason he went to the Sixers and he wins the title, he's going to stay Sixers.
And Donnie, that's my point about getting Kawhi. Just because I think Kawhi and LeBron can help and guard Durant and the Warriors and Clay. And what happened if he does go to Philly? My point is if they trade him to Philly and Philly has an unbelievable year and Cousins really cancers the Golden State Warriors, and with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid and Kawhi and they win a championship, maybe he doesn't leave. And
then you know what I do? You know what I'm doing if I'm Magic Johnson?
Okay, yeah.
I start getting Anthony Davis on the horn, and I start getting Klay Thomas on the horn, and then I have LeBron, Clay, and Anthony Davis with still a young Kuzma, Ingram, Josh Hart.
Exactly.
Okay. Hey, Donnie.
I'm not living or dying by Kawhi.
I love it, Donnie.
Well, I'm just as bad as the next guy. He signs, I'm buying his jersey immediately, but I'm not living or dying by Kawhi.
Okay. What else you got for us? What else?
So when you're talking about Melo and Bosch, you're talking about their careers. My biggest question for you, are you talking about NBA career?
Yes.
Or are you talking about basketball career?
It's a two-thing. We said who's a better player and who had a better career. And obviously they're two different questions, but for the most part, no matter who you side with, it seems to be he's a better player and he has a better career. Like, Dave, you believe Bosch is a better player and has a better career. I thought Melo was the better player, but Bosch had the better career. But after looking at the locked-in community and seeing people's responses and the different perspectives and points, I do see Bosch as a better player because he impacted the game more.
So let me throw something out here. The difference between the NBA, the NFL, and the MLB is the NFL has the NFL Hall of Fame. The MLB has the MLB Hall of Fame. The Basketball Hall of Fame is not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's Basketball Hall of Fame. They can take overseas guys. They can take great college guys. They can take great Olympians. So if you match up Carmelo Anthony's resume versus Chris Bosh head-to-head fully, from college on, Carmelo blows Bosh out of the water.
No, I talked
Blows
about
out of
this.
water.
I talked about this with Max Donnie. That's a great point. But that's just a Hall of Fame resume.
And that's arguable, though, because 2 NBA championships is as good as it gets.
Yeah, but
What about 3+ gold medals, carrying America to gold medals, a college championship, a NBA scoring championship, more All-Stars voting than Bosh?
no, and those
Yes,
all
he's not a team guy. He never sacrificed a dollar out of his pocket, which he's that guy. He's not going to pinch his pennies to go to the Warriors. He's not that guy. He's not in the team Hall of Fame. But in his prime, if I had to pick one, if I could have either one of the pick, I'm going to pick Carmelo.
that's a valid point, and I think you're talking more about resume and more about like a Hall of Fame, and it's kind of the question. But and then the player, you just said you would pick Melo over Bosh, and that's a preference. I would never have Melo over Bosh. Melo's more talented, can score in so many different levels. Back in the day, in the post shooting and all that stuff. But Melo had
and the NBA is way evolved beyond that. It's not a post game anymore.
Exactly.
So if Melo was coming out of college right now, he'd almost be just another guy.
Agree. And I just think in the longevity of their careers, even Bosh, not a lot of people remember this. Toronto had a lull after Vince Carter until Chris Bosh. They were horrible. They were.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
They were
and
really
Bosh's
bad.
career got sidelined because of his medical condition, which is why people are trying to come out of the woodwork and say he's going to go to the Lakers now because LeBron's laughing. This guy can't play. He's not medically cleared.
Yeah.
Sadly, his career got cut short, just like Shazier's never going to play middle linebacker again, which is tragic. But you can't get medically cleared. You can't get medically cleared.
Yeah, no, totally agree. So I just think with what he took Toronto and built them back up and had really good. They had playoff runs. They actually won one playoff series with Bosh. And then he was an all-star 5-6 years in a row. And then he made the decision, a really smart decision, to join Dwayne Wade. They didn't know then, or at least they say they didn't know LeBron was coming. But then LeBron came, and he won championships. And like I said, what's Melo's biggest memory as a NBA player? To me, is when he scored, I think it was like 61 in the Garden, and it was him scoring, and they won a game in the middle of February that no one remembers. Bosh's memory in playoffs, and I remember in the Eastern Conference Finals one year too, and it was a Game 6. Bosh even scored like a ridiculous 35, 34 points. I think it was against Indiana when they were battling Paul George, David West, and Hibbert. But that rebound in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, he has that moment. I just think he's a bigger impact in the NBA's legacy was Chris Bosh over Carmelo Anthony.
Okay, well, forgive me here. I can't remember. One of you guys is a Chris Paul homer. Who is it?
That's Dave. That's
me.
Dave.
That's me, Donnie.
Because you're going to put you say all that Chris Bosh teammate of the year. If I'm picking a teammate, I'm going to pick Bosh over Melo.
Yes.
Because a Melo and a Chris Paul are guys that chase their pockets. Just like Chris Paul can say all he wants about always staying in Houston to win a title, he ruined that team. Clint Capella was carrying them against the Warriors, and now he's not going to be there. Ariza's not going to be there. They lost that other guy's name I can't pronounce.
Abamute.
Their team is gutted.
If I'm
Their
good at
team
one
is gutted
thing
now.
tonight, I could say Abamute.
Mbama.
Abamute. You're doing it. You're doing good. You're doing good. So anyway, keep going.
But Chris Paul gutted his team to line his pockets for him, which is what I'll never hold that against the person directly. It's just not me, but I've never had a $300 million contract in front of me. However,
Same thing.
what I can tell you is, at this stage in his career, you're telling me Chris couldn't have took a few less to win a title?
Absolutely. No, I'm
The same with Melo. Those guys will never do that. They'll never do that.
No, and
that does separate them from the Bosches, and Clay's taken a little less. Durant took a little less for the Warriors. That separates them from those guys, and in return, they win titles. And at the end of the day, when I'm 50 and I'm looking at my son, and he's like, "Oh, tell me about Chris Bosh and Carmelo." What's going to stand out to him is Chris Bosh is a champion.
Hey, that's a good point. Actually, I like that story. Talking 50 to my kids, I like that. Hopefully we'll do that together one day, bud. But then also the real last point on Chris Paul is Chris Paul, when he was healthy, him and Harden.
When has he been healthy? What year has he been healthy?
His games has declined every year so far the past 5 years. That's what I told Dave. But
has he ever had a healthy season in his entire career dating back to New Orleans?
I'm not even a Chris
Paul guy. Has he ever played
here.
every game?
I'm not a Chris Paul guy here.
He has 5 years ago, 82.
I would defend him as this.
Okay.
Dave said this when we debated about Chris Paul is every team he's gone to, he's broke the record, not of himself, but he's been a part of it and leading that team to have the most winningest record. And Carmelo Anthony's never done that. And also in the perspective, he's the head of the players union. So he always promotes take as much money as you can from because these owners do what's best for them. Players should do what's best for them. So in a way, he's definitely a better teammate than I would say than Carmelo Anthony for the right reasons. Yeah, he can be hard on them, but he does elevate others. And I mean, look at James Harden this year. He's a different player. If you look at Capella, I am not a Chris Paul guy like Dave, but I definitely think he separates himself from Carmelo. I don't think they're as relatable.
It is funny that Clint Capella had his best year ever, and when he was a Clipper, DeAndre Jordan had his best year ever. But then when Paul left, neither guy could be. Can you see if Clint Capella went to the Suns, he would be irrelevant. That's my point.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But you bring me back to this though. Where Chris impressed me versus the Warriors in that series. If Chris doesn't get hurt, I say they win that series.
Agree.
Mm-hmm.
But you gutted your entire team to line your own pockets when you're going out the door. You're not going to be around in 3 years.
Yeah, he hurt.
Why not take a few less to give you a chance to add a title to your resume?
No, Donnie, totally agree with you. But hey, let me ask you a question. You're a father, right?
Yes.
I'm a father as well. Our kids probably do so many amazing things. Chris Paul has done so many amazing things, but once in a while, they do something stupid or they do something we don't like, and we have to ground them or we have to punish them. So in all this story about Chris Paul, my point is Chris Paul has done so many amazing things. I think he's been underrated his whole career, but this decision, I agree with you. I think it was a bad decision. I think it was a dumb decision. I kind of want to ground Chris Paul. I think he should have went for a 1 or 2 year deal. If I was Houston, 2 year, $30 million, $40 million, still a great payday for him, but they would have that money to re-up Trevor and re-up Clint Capella and go right back after Golden State. I think this team just run it back, and if they got lucky enough to get healthy, and maybe they were lucky enough that Golden State had the injury, I think they would have beat him. That's my 2 cents.
Well, the thing that bothers me the most is, I'm like I said, I'll reiterate this. I'm never the one to take the money out of somebody's pockets.
Mm-hmm.
But looking at Chris Paul, is he going to miss the $30 million he would have took less, the $20 million, $10 million he would have took less? He'll make that up with State Farm. He's got plenty of endorsements.
Exactly.
He doesn't need it. It just really rubs me the wrong way.
Great point.
Just like with Paul George, and we'll slide into this real quick because he forced his way out of Indiana because he wanted to be Showtime, and now you're telling me you forced your way to Indiana to put yourself in the same situation in Oklahoma?
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. And I said on the podcast,
for what to play second fiddle for the rest of your life.
I know Dave was saying it's peanut butter and jelly with Westbrook. I said no, it's peanut butter and bread because Russell Westbrook's the peanut butter. George is this there. You have to have him in order to have the sandwich, but he doesn't gel with Westbrook. They may be friends off the court, but Carmelo Anthony. I mean, Russell Westbrook took 43 shots in that last game, and Paul George was 2 for 16.
It just doesn't add up to me that he threw that big fuss to force his way out of Indiana. He was the man in Indiana. Indiana was on the map. He forced his way out, and luckily Indiana made out in that trade because they got a couple good ballers. And to force your way out to go to Oklahoma?
I know. It's
To,
for money.
I mean,
It's
to
for money.
Oklahoma?
It is baffling. At the time, you think it was LA or bust for George, and that's my point with Kawhi to try to get him. My only thing I can say is maybe he really did. Maybe he thought that with all the movement and player mobility of like Cousins joining Golden State and LA and LeBron going to LA and maybe Kawhi, maybe he just didn't think, honestly, when it got down to it, was like, man, they have Ingram, they got Kuzma, they got LeBron, maybe even Kawhi in the future. Maybe they don't have room for him. That's like, I think really that's what happened.
Yeah, he would have been second or third banana.
Yeah. Oh, third.
But you're winning titles.
I'm a title guy. That's me. And like we talked, I would always want to try to win. I would always take less money in life. I do it now in real life. I take it.
And he's another guy. He's not pinching pennies. He's got what, Powerade or Gatorade or somebody, and he's got shoes, and he's not pinching his pennies. He's not going to miss the less money he would have took to be in his hometown to win titles, to be. The man there. He would on the court. He'd be third banana, maybe second banana. But you're still the man walking around your hometown and winning titles.
Yeah. No, you just never know. Sometimes it's a family thing. Sometimes it's where you want to live in life. It seems like he thought he wanted to live in L.A., but that 1 year in Oklahoma City Thunder switched his mind. Was it Westbrook? Maybe the family? Maybe the big, humongous payday? I don't know. It's a lot. I'm kind of.
I'm telling you, if I don't know if Paul George is a married man, but if I looked at my wife and I said you can live in Oklahoma or Los Angeles, nobody's picking Oklahoma.
You didn't know fishing is better than the city in Los Angeles?
Yeah, let me hang around the tornadoes instead of being at the Beverly Hills.
Donnie.
No thanks.
No, Donnie, this is one of the best phone calls ever. We love it. We appreciate it. You can call anytime. We actually have to run. We got a couple things we got to hit up. But we appreciate you. You're always on the Locked In community. And anytime, you got the phone number now. You call in any Tuesday when we do the podcast. You're always welcome, my man.
Even when we're not doing the podcast, feel free to call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have a great night.
Appreciate it.
Great show
Thank you.
tonight.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Bye.
What an amazing phone call. This is what we like. We have the involvement from the community.
It's the Locked In community.
It's the Locked In community. They changed my mind about the Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh, but he brought up so many different points on both sides. And it's like, okay, you may think Chris Bosh, okay, you may think Carmelo, but it's almost like LeBron Jordan debates. Like, there's pros and cons to both, and I see that. And that's why I
There's
like
like
the
no
Locked In
right
community.
answer.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. There's no right answer. It's just my answer. No, I'm just.
Exactly. And then he had so many great points with Lakers, Chris Paul. So anyone, feel free to call the Locked In line and just get locked in with us. We'll debate, and it's just
Get on
we
that
learn.
community.
We have fun.
Join that debate of the day. It's a.
Max is killing it.
Thank you, guys.
It's
Thank you,
amazing.
thank
If you guys want to hear, if you guys want to see what's going on, like the page, join that community, and you won't regret it.
There you go. And like always, guys,
Stay locked in.
Yeah. You now locked in with the best. We ain't rocking with the rest. And when it's game time, we gon' put you to the test. Come the ball, we hitting it, kicking it, or we dribbling, passing it, or we running, or it's the ring that we flip you in. So what's the news? You want the scoop? You gotta keep it locked. To David Max podcast through your speaker box. What's poppin', my friend? You know the drop in. And the only thing left to do is keep it locked in.